happened last session after you all were told that if you want to speak, if you want to stop this storm, the best person you should probably try and speak to is the Fasir Ultra or the Ultra Priest. Those are their two titles. But in order to do that, you're going to have to help out Owaid in some way. And there's a contract that's been bothering the Vein Breakers for some time because some members of the Vein Breakers have tried to go and investigate this contract. And let's just say they find everything good. But Sir Ross certainly doesn't think so, considering the family members of these missing people within the contract keep coming to him, being like, where are my family members? So he has delegated to you all, with the help of one of the Vein Breakers members, John, to try and solve this mystery. Gave you a couple items. Kind of told you that if you're looking for information just about Owaid, probably the museum in the Tower of the Vasir Ultra is pretty good. If you're looking for information about really anything, you should go to the archives because they seem to have information about everything. So y'all exited Owaid into the central hub of Owaid. You see these just massive vines all around you. In fact, for the YouTube audience, I'll freaking show some artwork. It's for the YouTube audience. Big, massive vines, covered in leaves. All the leaves are kind of connected via wooden structures. There's these sands, and you're in this huge hub area where there's just tents and shops and everything. You all traveled through the hub, tried to cross the road. Vita got hit by a very fast traveling snake, unfortunate, but was able to be grabbed quickly by Felix. So didn't take the full 6 damage, only took 3 damage. But you all then traveled through the sands, which appears to move by its own. You don't need transportation. You can kind of just sit or walk in it. And just travel via the sands will take you away. Some are faster, some are slower. And you got a little bit closer look of all these vines. It looks like some of them are hollow, or at least have holes within them that you can go within. So it's not just the outside of these vines that are habitable. It seems like the insides are as well. But then you got to the Vasira hub where you can look up all these stairs that lead up to this absolutely massive tower that you can only assume is the Tower of the Vasir Ultra. Kind of as a pyramid base and then this super long pillar of a tower. It is much taller than the vines around it, which, based off your guesstimations, are already like 2,000, 3,000 feet tall. So it is an impressively tall structure. Kind of scary almost. But up the entire structure, you kind of see that there was these paths of what looks like this kind of hot orange sand that's kind of ringing up it. Which was an interesting visual. But you all traveled up the stairs. Turlon got tired about halfway through, and John offered to carry them, and so carried them the other way, which I'll show to the YouTube audience as well.
Yeah, Vita was so jealous of that, by the way. Vita was fucking sweating his ass off.
Beautiful artwork.
Up the stairs like an idiot.
Beautiful artwork from LaFleur. If that's what Turlon looks like, who knows?
More or less.
More or less.
You're missing the hair, but otherwise, yeah.
You got the idea.
Most other stuff are correct.
Nice. And you
Picture,
all...
I don't look like that.
You got an eye patch, though.
Yeah.
You're also purple. You get within the first level of the tower, and it's these large, sprawling rooms. You kind of find a map nearby, and you see in the southeast of the tower is a large room with the museum. So you entered, and you are approached by what looks like to be a female elf in this bright orange robe, and the other key that you notice about her, she has a little bit of darker skin than most elves you've seen, but not uncommon, and her eyes are this bright orange color, the irises, which is something you have not seen before, I'll say, any of you. But as she said, where did you want to look? And I guess we'll role play that part just in case it's changed at all. This is a large museum, so it looks like they have sections and various artworks and history and things like that. And so she says to you all, she says, "Well, welcome to the museum. What are you all interested in seeing? Is this your first time here?"
Yep.
Yeah, we're interested in the Greenway area. That's what it's called, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
She says, "You're interested in Greenway. What? I can absolutely. We have a whole section devoted to the history in Greenway." And she kind of starts walking over, and she says,
out of specifically, we're looking about information about the hotels in the area, but of course the whole area."
She kind of nods along, and she says, "Are you all staying with that hotel, or at one of the hotels?"
That depends on you.
Look at me. I'm gonna say. I say no. We're not planning to stay. Lying, of course.
She looks over. She's not trying to tell if you're lying or not. She says, "Oh well, it's a beautiful area, very affluent. I think you'll, if you ever go and visit it in person, you'll enjoy it." And she kind of leads you over to this section. You can see that there's plaques around. You can see that there are lots of paintings of what looks to be a gigantic sea. I don't think you all know about the Sea of Replenishment. I'll say, John, you know about the Sea of Replenishment. You know it's a gigantic, huge sea that is right next to 08 that 08 is kind of partnered with. But you see lots of paintings of just the beach and the sea, and there's beautiful artwork painted by various painters of Greenway, but then also just some plaques around. And she says, "Is there anything in specific you said you wanted to know about the hotels? Any hotels? I mean, there's many hotels, resorts all around there."
Yeah. Bit of an odd question. Are there any monsters in the area? Shit, wait. Are there any monsters in the area?
Full of tact today, I see, guys.
Yeah,
Balls dropped.
yeah. Her eyes open a little bit, and she
Why we
says,
gotta lie to everybody?
That's not a lie. We are looking for monsters. That's actually a truth. I
No, I'm
lied.
saying, I know you said full tech. I'm saying, why we gotta lie to everybody? Sometimes we just gotta go. Tell us where the monsters are, and she'll tell us.
She will, yeah.
It's good practice not to get away your investigate.
Oh my god.
We can come up with something after the fact.
Yeah. She kind of opens her eyes. She says, "Monsters, not that I know of. Maybe there's some places that have some really skyrocketed prices, but monsters, I don't know of any." And she's kind of just taken aback by the question. Well, she kind of laughs it off.
Anything about the area is good. Maybe even local legends would also help. But
I have a question too.
She looks to you, Vita.
What's your question, soldier?
Do you have anything you can tell me about Violet Piola? Kind of interested.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I forgot to show that. But there's I'm going to really quickly show it for the YouTube audience. Yeah. All the viewers we get.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all are interested, you can pause to see the full description.
They're just one of us gets famous and then plugs this, and it's going to get
exactly. So
this will be the next Hawktua.
You can.
True.
You all could pause and see the letter, and she says, "Oh, Violet Piola. Well, she's one of the. She's part of the Piola family. She's she kind of looks around. She says, well, she's known for being very beautiful, very eccentric. I have never seen her myself, but I know that she's quite the celebrity in 08. Do you know her? Have you just heard of her? Are you?
Look, no offense. I'm not asking what you know, but I'm asking where's the section I can go in here. There must be info.
She,
Stop talking.
She says, "Oh, just the Piola family in general. Well, we do have a whole section. There is a district named after them, for instance. I can lead you there after you. Are you all quite done with the Greenway district?" And
We're not even. You took us to the Greenway district. We've been here. I thought we were just standing in the entrance.
She walked over to where the Greenway district, and you saw a bunch of paintings of like beaches and stuff.
That's nothing else, just the paintings.
And some placards, and I will copy and paste this just to you all, just to a little bit about the Greenway District. Basically, the Sea of Replenishment is very, very beautiful, and there are tons of resorts at the Greenway District. Lots of wealthy people live there. Kind of like as a getaway home when they're tired of their work. It's called Greenway mostly because for some reason the vines there are much brighter green than all the ones you've seen so far. But there is the Greenway Resort is very famous. That's the one where people are supposedly missing a lot from it. And that is where in the letter that was visited. And there's also Hotel Cash, which is apparently a very, very, very wealthy vine that is off to the west within the Greenway. But this is kind of the gist of the information that you get from it. She says, "Any questions about the Greenway?"
No. Are there the different sections in the city? Who's like the local government person in that section? Who leads that section?
She kind of raises her, she kind of looks a little excited for a moment, and she says, "Well, come on over." Or no, she won't say this. She'll say, "Well, to answer your question, every district has a superior priest that kind of looks over it. Of course, there is the ultra priest, as we are in the tower of them right now, but they can't do everything, so they delegate down to the superior priest, one per district. And then there are a number of high priests throughout every district that kind of run their own little sections." And she says, "Are you looking to meet one of these people in Greenway? I could show you a map, and you could probably visit them at the Superior Tower."
No, there's no need. Thank you, though.
And she kind of looks around. She says, "Any other questions about Greenway?"
No.
I don't think so. Yeah, I think we just have to go there.
Yeah, and she'll say, "Well, you are interested in Violet, so let me go over. Let's go over to the Piola district." And she kind of walks on over. And as you're walking through, you can tell that there's quite a few people here that, from what you were looking like at the central hub, there are, people from every kind of ancestry and background and wearing every kind of clothes you can see. And this seems to be very much the case here as well. It looks like a lot of tourists are within this museum. Not a lot of, they look like people that are not from 08, much like you all. But she kind of walks over to the Piola district, and I will copy this real quick, but I'll give you the gist. She will say all this.
Just took off his shirt.
Oh.
She basically, the Piola family is one of the oldest families in 08. In fact, they have a whole district named after them, so you can imagine. And they essentially what they're known for is that it was started by General Piola, who she was, and her and all of her children are quite at least 15 eras. If you want to learn about the origins of 08, I got a whole thing on that too. But there's essentially they are the ones who started the Zaroon Guard and who protect all of the Zaroon dunes. right now, the Ultra Priest is technically the head of the Zaroon Guards, but many of the top generals and the various people within the Piola family still rank among them. So not exactly what you've heard about Violet. Doesn't seem like she's very military oriented, but maybe. But
Okay.
yeah, it seems like quite a military family, and a lot of people live there. Lots of Zaroon Guard are within the Piola district, so it's a very safe place. But there is apparently a Piola Vine where many of their family members live, and then a Zaroon Guard memorial for all of the guards who have fallen throughout the history of their existence.
I have a question for the tour guide.
She looks to you.
Has there ever been any conflict between the Piola family and the people in the Greenway district?
She says, no conflicts between the Greenway and the Piola family, but the Piola and the Horshani family are, well, they're sometimes at odds. Right now they're quite peaceful, but there have been bouts between them in the past, disagreements about how to run their various areas, some territories. The
Horshani family?
And she says, yes, there's two families within Oade. There's the Piola family, and then there's the Horshani family. And she says, are you all interested in the Horshani? I can show you their thing very quickly.
I guess, but I can't deal with another one after that.
I think she said those were the two. So.
She says, well,
I trust you.
She says, yes, there's only two families that you have to worry about. Don't worry.
So everyone in Oade they're all related?
She shakes her head. She says, no, but a good part of people they've been around for. Oh, and she says, even before the Dark Era, but, they've been around for a very long time.
I'm going to ask her to tell me what the Dark Era is.
I'll say...
The Dark Era, we all know it.
I'll say roll a religion check.
Not me.
Roll a religion check.
We all do that?
Man, you know the Dark Era.
Everyone except Vita roll for
Fuck.
unfortunately. Roll a religion check.
Close my thing.
21.
Close it. 21.
Oh,
I don't know the Dark Era because I
bounced
am
off
the Dark
somebody
Era.
else's die.
I'll say
Dark
that
Lord.
Trelawn, you're the only one that knows what the Dark Era is referring to. It is referring to the second era of Kosa, what you know of is a very, very long era where Kosa, who, three of you have already experienced what it means to say that word, but you all,
Kosa.
you four know at least are a very bad deal. Kosa is, and then of course you all as players know Kosa's a bad deal. But very, very long era, and so sometimes instead of saying the second era of Kosa or just referring to it, it's called the Dark Era.
Above board, that's not that isn't the era that we kicked off, right?
It is.
Oh, that is, yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Yes, that is.
Cool. Go on.
Yeah, Kosa's ascension was the beginning of the second era of Kosa. So y'all met Kosa and his dealings.
Yeah, I remember Kosa. I just
He's a
wasn't
chill
sure
guy.
that was our Kosa era.
Yes, yeah. It appeared. It was
Thanks, Dylan.
his second
Hey,
appearance.
you guys did it.
I didn't. You couldn't stop him. I don't know what to tell you. But
Okay.
yeah, she kind of says the Dark Era in passing. The three of you are welcome to ask about it, but Turlon, you know that means the second era of Kosa.
Okay.
Are there any gnome-related characters associated with the Dark Era?
Do I know that?
I'm kidding.
No.
But I
You're asking
am.
about Muss
Muss Ridgeback.
Not ask about.
Oh, I don't
But
know.
then you ask all about monsters, and then later you ask about gnomes. And she's like, "Does he think gnomes are monsters?"
They're really freaky.
They're really small. It's weird.
But
This one named Sarmun.
Really fucked up.
so we have the Piola family, the Horshani family, the Greenway district,
Yes.
and
But she
Tell
says,
us about the horse Shawnees if no one has any other.
yeah, the Horshani family, you all. And I'll say accompanied, you'll see a lot of kind of at the Piola family district, or the Piola district, you'll see a lot of, emblems and, excuse me, what looks like artifacts from the Zaroon Guard, of like, an example of their clothing and how it's changed throughout the year. You all have seen Zaroon Guard, throughout the city, but also when the three of you were leaving Lasta. And so you see a whole bunch of stuff about the Zaroon Guard, and then here at the Horshani family, you see paintings and various, what looks like metal equipment. It appears like the Horshani family, when they started, they owned some factories and have slowly just begin growing their many various manufacturing factories that are actually housed within the vines themselves. And apparently it has a very distinct look when you walk within, that many of these vines have kind of holes where steam and smoke and various plumes of various colors are spewing out of the vines. You all haven't seen that yet on your travels, but apparently it's something. But yeah, they're known for many factories. Many of the things that are manufactured within 08 probably come from the Horshani district. It's a very working area. And
hey, really quickly.
Yeah, you go.
In that second paragraph, did you mean to type the main features of the Horshani district are the many
yes.
factories?
You got it. You got it. Yes. You can see where my copy and pasting came in.
Fucking idiot.
Wow.
You tell him.
Cutting corner.
You can see which one I typed first.
Thanks for seeing ChatGPT to write the lore.
Yeah. YouTube's gonna say this one, bud.
But yeah.
VPN exposed.
And it seems like they are
Use AI art.
They're close to the burials of decay and the farmlands. Are kind of name dropped there.
What is question? What is like factories? I mean, I know you kind of got into it a little bit. Like, what do factories look like in Sumia generally? Is that weird? Are we like taken aback by the idea of many large? Forget that they're in vines for a second. Very large factories of billowing out plumes of multicolored smoke. Like,
I'm taken aback by it.
That's. I mean, like, as a player, I am, but like as characters, is that weird? Is that just Sumia?
My character is weirded out by it.
I'll say, Vita, you're definitely weirded out by it. I'll say that. Yeah, I'll say, Turlon, give me a society check. Everybody else, this is the first time. You may have heard of factories before, and you know of their existence, of just like manufactured goods. But I'll say that from y'all's experience, you know that factories are not what. When you hear the word factory, it doesn't exactly mean like what we think of, like industrial revolution factories. It just more means a place where something that's not like handcrafted is made, like manufactured, like assembly line thinking things. So a factory just means that it's made a lot. Yeah, exactly. So not like I'm sure some factories like metallurgy factories and things like that where they're melting tons of metal are gonna be kind of soot and ashy, but just a factory just means a place where things are manufactured. But yeah, smoke, that's certainly strange.
For sure. Cool.
Especially enough to show a distinct view of it. And
I'll ask if the colored smoke on the the colored smoke you said was on like the art for the area of the library, right? I'm gonna ask her if the colored smoke is like is that artistic impression or is that real?
She says, "Oh, it's very much real. I'm not entirely sure of all the processes that go on within these factories, but some of them do have quite vibrant colors within their plumes. I don't know." And she kind of shakes her head. She says, "That's not my forte, but these colors are quite accurate. I would definitely go and visit the area sometime if you all have the time. Are you all visiting 08 for long?"
I just kind of wander wherever, so.
It honestly depends.
She says,
for now, yeah, it seems we'll be here for a bit.
She says, well, I hope you all stay for a while. It's a great place to live.
It's incredibly large. It's very difficult to get around.
Yeah, why are there so many people out everywhere?
She says, well, it's one of the biggest cities in all of Sumia, and that's all thanks to the Ultra Priest. They've really helped the city grow. She says, oh, well, the Ultra Priest is the one who governs across all of Oade and protects most of the Zaroon Dunes. Have you all...
What's their name?
She says, their name is the Ultra Priest. We don't know what their name is.
What?
Okay,
can I go talk to them?
Wait, has there only been one? Are they like a king or a queen or?
She says, "Come. There's a whole section on the Ultra Priest." But she says, "Is there only one?" And as you're walking, she says, "Yes, there's only one. There's only been one ever since the end of the Dark Era." When Vidana,
I kind of give you guys a double take when she says that.
Wow, they're old.
She says,
how long ago was that?
Says,
I'm just gonna turn it to the other three.
I'd say, I mean, what I know, I mean, because I know
you would definitely have to roll in a religion check, yeah.
I just want to, because given my previous knowledge, I want to like try and estimate the number of thousands of days and or years.
Okay, let me pick up some things real quick.
I'm just going to say John has no idea. He genuinely doesn't know how long it's been since the end of the second era of Kosa. He's not well educated.
Okay, then I'll say real quick. Oh.
So I also want... Can I also roll a religion check? Because I did and I got a crit.
Yeah, you can.
So
I'll say that based off of your crit, you are now remembering what you may, like, the first time you're like, oh, there's like some inklings of what the Dark Era means, but I'll say now you understand what it is. You know that it's been roughly 250,000 days since then, which is around 600 years if you want to be, or a little bit over 600 years since the end of the Dark Era. So I will say that she says there's only been one ever, and and Vasir herself, well, you divide by 400, there's 400 days in a Sumia year to make it way easier on me.
I got coped.
You got coped. But she says, yes, there's only ever been one, and Vasir herself appointed the Ultra Priest to look over Oade and protect the Zaroon Dunes, and so far they've done a wonderful job.
Okay. Well, this is so we'll just go to them, and this is easy. They're protecting everything here, and then we'll just go to them with our problems, and they'll fix it.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of says, she says, well, in order to get an audience with the Ultra Priest, you'll either need to be awarded some kind of medal or have some kind of in with one of the higher priests, because they're the only ones who really speak to them.
We are doing this whole quest to get an audience with the Ultra Priest, right? That's the
that is
our reason for this.
That is the goal. But
I just thought we could shortcut it.
Well, I would love to hear any more information you have about the Ultra Priest. It's an interesting topic.
Yes, and she kind
of a lot of paragraphs.
She kind of lots of paragraphs. She kind of leads you over to an area that you see in the Ultra Priest. You see a lot of various masks kind of lined up. They appear to be kind of these stone masks, and it appears to be some timeline of sorts, designating various masks that various Vasir priests have worn throughout Oade. But there is kind of this golden statue of one of these masks, kind of 3 times larger than what anyone would wear. And the masks are, this very almost like geometrically carved stones. There's not any curvature to them. It seems to be very polygon-esque. But essentially, the Ultra Priest was appointed by Vasir at the end of the Dark Era. Apparently, they were very heroic, and so worthy of being appointed, and they have looked over the growth of Oaid, protecting the Zerun Dunes. Kind of delegates responsibilities down to the superior and then the high priests. Ultra Priest lives at the top of the tower that you're currently in. The superior priests speak with them a lot. The high priest only sometimes see them, and most citizens don't actually see what the Ultra Priest looks like. But whenever the Ultra Priest makes a decree, it is heard throughout the entire city. It's this very deep, booming voice. And some have rumored that their voice can even be heard from many miles away. Yeah.
Someone has a question.
Apparently a very devout, apparently very devout. Yes. As she kind of looks to you, John, she says, yes.
John is raising his hand.
Yes.
He goes, well, they sound, Jesus. Well, they sound really strong. But my question kind of is who said that they were appointed by Vasir? Did they write this themselves, or is there like any evidence of this?
Dude, you're blaspheming right now.
Yes,
I'm just saying. I don't know. Like,
I mean, it says it right there. That's the evidence. It says it. Why would it say
No, it's a
it?
great question to ask above board, but also you're blaspheming 100%.
No, Vita's got a point.
It does say it right there.
It does say it
right.
right.
I just don't get why it wouldn't have happened if it doesn't. Why would they put it there?
And they say, well, nearly all of the priests of Vasir agree upon this fact, and the Ultra Priests themselves have said it, and, well, no one has any reason to believe that they're lying, especially with all the great that they've done to Oaid, so I believe that everyone should fully believe it.
Okay. I'm in. I'm in.
Out of curiosity, I'm
Okay.
like trying to suss out the writing itself based on just like what I know about how things are written in Sumia generally. Do they say they? And I know it's a fine line. Do they say they because this creature transcends gender, or they just don't know?
A great question. I'll say that from the sense that how everyone is speaking it and writing it, it's more of a sense that they don't know, but it's certainly, you can also imagine that if there was some kind of gender to this being, that may have also been passed down or, written
And
out.
hearing the voice, right?
Yeah, so it could be either. It could,
Interesting.
you don't know, but it's certainly seems like some very interesting being.
I'm just reading this. This is Vita.
Yeah.
How do you just end? So they end the Dark Age and then they live forever? Is that what happens? That's my A to B from reading this.
Say again. Sorry. It ends the Dark Age.
They end the Dark Age and then now they live forever. Is that what happened?
Well, she says,
they're really old.
From the stories, it appears that they, in terms of their age, well, they have persisted for this long. There's no telling of their age. No one really sees them, so we can only imagine that, yes, they'll live forever as long as Oaid is still prospering.
Wow.
But she says, but yes, the Dark Era, apparently, the Vasir Ultra was, what's it called? Not paramount. Crucial in, defeating the Dark Forces and ending the Dark Era. And so, as a reward...
Like, what'd they do?
She says, well, they fought valiantly, I'd imagine. A great warrior, some people say, but yes, it's been many, many days since then.
But so you say no one has seen them, but you don't literally know, right? You said people have audience with them. People have seen them. Have they?
She says, yes, but very, very few people. And I personally don't know of anyone, and I've been working here for most of my life.
Hey, Steven.
Are there any written accounts of people speaking with this Ultra Priest?
It seems, she says, well, it seems very secretive. It doesn't seem like I've ever read any writings of what they look like, so I'd imagine that all the people that have met them would like to keep that era of mystery around them, maybe.
You've got to be trusted.
And she says,
if you guys
yes,
keep
it's a
talking
matter
like
of trust.
This, they're not going to let you up there. They're not going to let me up there.
Hey, Steven.
Yeah,
I look at you like...
Does John remember any discussion by Sir Ross specifically, or anyone in the Veinbreakers about the Ultra Priests, like being mentioned? Because they're right underneath Oaid. So, like, wouldn't there be any sort of discourse about them?
Yeah, sure. Roll a society check for me, I'll say.
How about I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Just forget about it.
I'll say that what you know about the Ultra Priest is that the Veinbreakers are like... They are... God, I need the exact word, and I'm not finding it. They are approved of by the Ultra Priest, basically. The Veinbreakers are allowed to exist and are, pass inspection, quote unquote, from the Ultra Priest. And so contracts like these, like the one you're on right now, don't really come from like people per se. They sometimes come from like the higher ups. So you can imagine that since this one deals with Greenway, it probably comes from the superior priest within Greenway. But you know that of the Vizier Ultra, that the Veinbreakers are like of talks whenever they've been brought up. It's that, that if they needed something, done, then maybe like, the priest was throughout 08 would aid in that. And that is because the Ultra Priest like approves of the Veinbreakers.
Okay. John wasn't raised in political science. He's not really going to think about this too much. Yeah, well, kind of weird you don't see your own ruler. I don't know. I've been able to like have a face-to-face meeting with most mayors I kind of come across, but cool.
And she kind of nods her head and she says, yes, it is a little strange that not many people, but I can also imagine in other large cities throughout 08 that many people have also not met the highest level of governance there. So it's pretty normal for us, I'd imagine. But I understand it is a little strange, the secrecy and mystery, but it's something.
Okay, the Ultra Priest is super duper not normal. This is not normal.
They say, but there's some mystery to it. It's fun sometimes.
Hey, Turlin.
Yep.
You're from
I say yes.
You're from out of town. You seem smarter. Do you remember hearing like any opinions on where you come from about the Ultra Priest in 08?
That's a great question. I'm also going to leak into my knowledge from the 10 Cuts about that. See if I had heard any gossip or any talk about that.
Sure, give me
because I don't. I didn't go to school, so.
Give me
no, not everyone goes to school. That's okay.
Yeah, I still got time.
How about a thievery check?
Oh my god, I'm thieving.
Thieving? Go to school? Did you say go to
my
what?
God, with a 3. I feel like this is gonna be a reading type session, so I'm using my hero point on the thievery roll because surely it'll be better.
Two, roll
surely
2.
Get a 2.
Oh, holy shit!
Oh damn it!
Damn it!
Almost a 2. Almost a 2.
I'm glad you guys really root for me.
They say from the 10 cuts and just from your time and experience, the Ultra Priest is, I'll say that, especially because of the Vein Breakers and because the Ultra Priest kind of approves of them, the 10 cuts really does not like Oaid. Like, everything you've ever heard about Oaid or the Zaroon Dunes are very negative things from your time in the 10 cuts, just because of the Vein Breakers there, and by proxy, that's the Visir Ultra. And so I'll say that they're, the Visir Ultra, if they're ever talked about, is certainly bad mouthed as, some like secret, backwards, like, doesn't even interact with the people, but at least the emperor, interacts with the people and things like that, like, or like the king interacts with people, right? So it's kind of this comparison between Wade versus the Watat Empire. The Watat Empire is like way better because the Visir Ultra like is like all secretive and like who knows if they even exist. Like, there's kind of the conspiracy theories of like, is it really just like, the council of the superior priests, which people have met and they kind of just like make something to like make up about. And so there's a lot of disdain for the Ultra Priest within 08. Anything you've heard about them, though.
Out of curiosity, who is the current Watat king or queen? I said that only partially because of the one shot, but it's also relevant here, I feel.
I will say that from what you know, it is the same king from the one shot.
That survived. Got it. Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Okay. Yeah, I will say, I don't want to repeat all that bad mouthing here above board. So I would look at you and say, not much, just that a figure so mysterious as the Ultra Priest would be a surprise to people where I'm from. But I only know of one place, so this is new.
I look over at Vito. What's he doing?
What are you doing, Vito?
Listening you two talk.
Vito, do you know anything? Like, have you heard about the Ultra Priest before coming here?
Before here, no, but I mean, it's all here.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I think, this place seems pretty good. It's safe.
Yeah. I just want to meet with them, mainly because I want to talk about the transportation stuff around the city. Having an avenue to get over, those big streets would be great.
I think if we
can ask about that here. And I turn to you, being like, we're not the locals. Is there a better way to cross the street? I don't know if that makes me sound like a child, but
I got hit.
Yeah, our guy got injured. Can we sue?
She says, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you got hit. Yes, throughout many of the hubs, there's many a crosswalk that you could maybe cross across. There's areas now. It is, and she kind of puts up her hand. She says, you still need to watch out for people. They're not likely to still stop, but it is at least a large area where they're going to be wary of people crossing the road. Did you all cross not within one of the hubs?"
No, we just kind of winged it.
No signs anywhere.
We just freeballed it.
And she says, "Well, I'm sorry you got hit. I hope you're not too injured, but yes, it's a very large city, and you kind of have to get your way around, or you kind of have to learn your way around."
There you go.
No, I was changing the topic.
I was just gonna say that's my only criticism of the Ultra Priest so far. I feel like they would have saved me from getting hit, but they must have been looking at something else at that moment.
So we can't sue, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Would the Ultra Priest preside if we could?
And she kind of laughs a little bit. She says, "No, I don't think that the Ultra Priest works with the dealings of anyone crossing the road or anything like that. Much higher level things. So I don't think they would be at fault."
Reasonable.
Reasonable.
higher level.
I'm
Okay.
sure if like a really big carriage came through, maybe then the Ultra Priest would get involved.
Okay. I just thought they were looking over every keep this whole land safe, but it's all right. I'm sure they're still good.
Yeah, she kind of nods along. She says, "Yes, I believe that they're still good."
You've got any secrets here? What's your secret section?
She says, "Well, no secrets. I don't know what you mean by secrets. What do you mean?"
So the secret teller would
I don't really know either.
I don't know.
You know what? I'm curious about. I might go off on my own for a second, but do you have any sections I can learn about? I don't know, like critters local to this area.
Yeah, are we allowed to free roam, or do we have to be attended?
She says, "Oh, you're absolutely allowed to free roam. I was just trying to help, but you all are allowed to free roam." And she kind of looks to you and she says, we mostly deal with the history there. We don't have any natural history in that regard in terms of animals or creatures. That would be, well, if you're looking for anything in specific, the archives are always a great place to go."
Show me where those are, please.
And she says,
Normal?
"Well, they're outside, about to the east, maybe, a couple thousand feet."
Oh, let's go that.
7,000
You've been
feet,
keeping
about
us
a
here.
mile away. A mile or two.
Well, also, hey, really quickly, great, thank you. I'll probably check those out later. I might look around the museum a bit more, but that those red hot sands right outside of the tower. What is that?
She says, "Oh, those are quite a new development within, I'd say perhaps a couple thousand years. The Vizier Ultra decreed that they had found various deposits of sand all throughout the area of Oade, and they are leading up all the way to the top of the tower to help them with all of their projects in terms of helping out Oade grow and protecting the Zaroon Dunes."
Okay.
Why don't we all head to the archives, guys?
I'm trying to think if I have any other questions. Yeah, I mean, one last question. Do you have any information about any possible historical controversies that might have happened in the Greenway? I know we said there was no really feuding between the Piola family and people who ran the Greenway and the hotels there, but I'm just curious if there's been any controversy throughout the years, particularly recently.
She says, "Well, there's no sections in the museum about that, but me personally, I heard that, maybe 1,000 days ago or so, that one of the resorts was serving spoiled meat to their guests, and they had to get shut down. And, well, it was quite it was quite the news for a day or two, if I remember quite correctly. But it's mostly a quieter area. Most of the controversies occur in other districts, especially like in the Scenaria district as well."
What district? What district did you say? Can you tell us a bit about that?
She says, "Oh, the Scenaria district. It's kind of the," and she kind of shakes her head a little bit. She says, "It's like the party district within O8. If you're looking for a good time, just at really any general part of the day, the Scenaria place is definitely the place to visit."
All right.
Not our problem.
And she says, "Well, if
the
you all don't have any other questions, if you want to visit the archives, you can leave through the east exit and then travel about a mile to the southeast, and you'll see the vine when you see it as soon as you exit."
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just gonna leave.
Yeah. Do you all have any more things to do in the museum?
No.
No.
Wait.
Yeah.
No.
You're telling me
Yeah.
The Ultra Priest is at the very top of this tower.
You saying that to her?
I'm asking you just as a reminder that
Yes.
she said that,
yes,
right?
She said that the Ultra Priest lives at the top of this tower. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to look at her. One last question.
Sure.
You're telling me the Ultra Priest is at the top of this tower. Has anyone tried to ever sneak up there?
She kind of nods her head a little bit and she says, yes, some people have tried to make it, but it is quite a long tower, and there's many guarding checkpoints with the Zaroon Guard and various levels of security, so everyone who's ever attempted has failed pretty shortly. There have been a couple that have made it like maybe up halfway up the tower, but none that I know of that have ever even reached the chambers without the Ultra Priest's consent.
Okay. I was just curious.
How did the guards get up there? Or did they stop sort of halfway as well?
She says, well, I'm not entirely sure. I've never even been to the base of the tower. I've only been on the floors of these base pyramids, but I know that there's security protocols, and it's all very difficult to get up there, so I'm sure all the guards that get to the top have some means of getting up there.
All right. Well, thanks. I don't have any other questions. I'm going to go to the archives now.
Sounds good.
Archives pilled, I'm thinking, as well.
He's rolling. The DM is rolling.
DM is rolling.
Probably only good things.
I'll say that Felix, as you're leaving, you notice that she kind of, she's been cordial and she looks at you for a moment and then she does a short little double take towards you. Like, her eyes kind of furrow a little bit, but then she kind of shakes her head a moment and then continues going on. But that's something that you
speed
notice.
up walking. I walk faster.
Bro, they got you on 08's Most Wanted, dude.
The Ultra Priest has it out for you.
You're fucked, dude.
You're not making it out of here.
No,
all right.
I'm not. You all making your way to the archives? Want to talk about anything as a group now that you're not in the thing, or what? You'll make it to the archives.
Yeah, definitely.
Mile-long walk. Oh my god.
Yeah, on our
I don't
mile-long
like this
walk,
Ultra Priest business.
I'm going to mention the Ultra Priest. Yes, I don't like that. It's odd. Said they've been alive for hundreds of thousands of days, potentially.
Well, it's not that. It's just that they're supposed to keep everyone safe, but then the first thing happens to me is I get hit on their street, and it seems like it's not even that big of a deal.
Well, you're not a citizen of 08.
Well, that's what I'm going to bring up. I'm in the land of 08. I don't know. I just feel like I'm a little disenchanted after what they had up there.
Well, for what it's worth, I sympathize with that, but I do think it's odd that the Ultra Priest is 200,000 days old. That is certainly bizarre.
I don't know. I
like
can't think of
the other two for like approval on that. It's like,
yeah, the ankle thing is crazy. Sorry that happened to you, but also, not seeing the person who governs everything, who's apparently been alive this long, that's kind of wild.
And I didn't give you the whole story while we were in there, John. But it is rumored within the Watat Empire that the Ultra Priest is a joke, a farce, a front, something else, not real, a myth. The notion that, like you said, the notion that you wouldn't see your ruler, or that they wouldn't make public appearances, or that they would live for hundreds of years, is strange. That is very odd.
So he's either real and everything that lady said is real, or it's fake. It's all fake.
If I had to put my money on it, I'd say it's fake.
Okay, how much money?
I mean, did we agree? We agreed to call you Alden, didn't we? So I'll say, because we're outside, I'll say Alden.
Yeah.
Felix. And I mean, I know you live. Gosh, this sounds like. Gosh, God, I just realized this sounds mean. I know you live in the woods. You ever heard of anything like this from where you're from? With the ruler that is.
I don't need to ask this question. The answer is no. There's no way. Nope, I do not know.
I shake my
What's
head.
It
what's
is
the
weird
point of
though.
it?
I don't know why.
So if it's fake, why why fake it?
Well, the only thing I can imagine is that if they knew who it actually was, they wouldn't be obedient to them. Maybe this Ultra Priest did exist at the end of the Dark Era, and then when they died, maybe the people in charge next in line didn't think they could hold on without the power, without that name recognition.
I think you're right. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that's probably the truth.
Oh my
180.
He's really soured once he realized that they didn't care about him getting hit by the snake.
God.
He's like, wait, yeah, this guy's actually probably evil.
Vito watches like a YouTube video about how this thing is actually bad, and he's like, yeah, this YouTuber said so.
Being false on the alt-right pipeline.
Yeah, he believed in it. He read all that, but then she's like, "Oh, well, actually, I do care about higher matters." It's like, "Oh, well, higher matters."
I mean,
Ugh.
if this thing,
Okay.
if this priest was all powerful, I mean, surely they'd. And I look
That's what he's thinking.
Alden. Surely they'd know you're here, right?
Well,
They
I mean,
want
we
so
don't.
bad.
Well, we don't know if they're unaware.
They're
yet.
looking at you weird.
Yeah.
I was worried.
Yeah. That's why I kept quiet.
I don't think. Gosh, they didn't have much. I mean, no, this is not necessarily the area for it. It turns out, but they didn't have much information about the Greenway either. I've been thinking
No, it
about
wasn't.
what could
Or
be going on.
monsters.
I mean, I'm worried that there could be some sort of memory erasure going on with these creatures that were with whatever creature or person or entity or spell or effect is causing these people to write in their journals these scary things.
Nobody even knows.
Perhaps this memory erasing ability is being used by the Ultra Priest or whoever pretends to be the Ultra Priest. If no one's ever written an account of actually seeing them.
Yeah, but why start now?
You're right. Why? It's a good question.
Well, how do
It's probably not connected. I'm probably overthinking it.
We need to think of something, because what if our memories get taken? How would we know?
Right. We need to when we do go in there, we need to be ready to deal with that.
Well, what if they've already taken our memories? We already forgot.
Write it on our arm, maybe. I don't know many.
We'll write down short-term memories before we leave every location.
Right.
That's a good call. This is also crackpot idea. If so, whatever is making people forget things, it could be a magical, right? Or it could be a physical, Men in Black mind eraser type beat, And if it's that, surely someone who's eaten a small candy and hidden inside of my bag and listening to the conversation wouldn't be affected. I don't actually think it's an amazing idea, but I think it's a funny plan.
Wait, who is that?
One of us would take a small candy.
Oh, I thought you were implying that Alden was still alive somehow and hidden in your bag. I was like, what?
LaFleur comes back wearing a shitty wizard costume.
Yeah, sorry guys, he was in my bag the whole time.
Yeah.
Throw him in the sand.
At this point, Alden coming back would be traumatic, I think. Like
I would fight him.
He's scary.
I would try to kill him.
You wouldn't trust him. Yeah.
So from another world.
And despite the fact that this does seem like a nice area, I mean, okay, I'm thinking in terms of the Watat Empire, Stephen. From a pure lore perspective, can you validate that this, like my player intuition, this place has a lot of uniquely nice or good things? The crazy high population, the sand highways, the factories, the things in vines. Can you validate the feeling I'm getting that this is weird?
It certainly is. It's weird in the sense from the Watat Empire perspective. It is certainly crazy. Now, is it what you've heard about Oade in passing, about anything about Oade? It's all living pretty up. You've heard about the vines. You've heard about, this kind of oasis in the middle of a giant desert. So it's certainly, it's not like surprising, but it is not like the Watat Empire in the slightest.
So I never believed the stories about the raid, but it all seems to be true, and it's almost I don't know, it doesn't rest well with me. This place with more births than usual, with vines the size of big mansions. This is a bizarre place. And I presume at this point we're right about getting up to the archives.
As you all approach the archives, you can tell which one it is because the entire outside of the archives vine is just like covered in scaffolding, much more than all of the other vines around. You know, all the other vines have staircases and ladders that kind of go between the leaves, and it seems like not frequented that much. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of congestion, whereas the archives have a lot of these wooden structures between the leaves. It almost looks like some kind of like manual elevators where things are being pulled up by ropes. You see pallets of various items, and it looks like a heavily worked upon vine. And as you look up it seems to go up the entire height of the vine. It's not just like at the base or one specific area. There's a lot of moving parts on this vine. You can only imagine that since she was like, you'll know it when you see it, that this has to be the archives. But as you approach, you notice that there is, along the side, or along one of the sides as you kind of get closer on the west side, that there is a large archway that is carved into the vine. And I'll say this, actually. As you are approaching the archives, you all don't even need perception checks for this. I'll say you'll notice that on the vines as you're walking through, and also on the archives as you're glancing and walking around, it looks like there are people. Looks like people like on the leaves and things putting out streamers onto these leaves, little banners of things, little things that appear to glow. Various colors. It looks like, almost multicolored. It looks like as you're walking, the more and more you notice, and it's getting to like 4 or 5 p.m. in the day at this point, a little bit later in the afternoon, and especially towards the archives, you can see that there are people on these leaves that are putting up what looks to be decorations. And I'd like for you all of you to roll a society check would be best here, I think.
Happy birthday, Vita.
Happy birthday, Vita.
That'd be crazy. Hope so.
It is your birthday, Vita.
Whoa.
For me?
Oh.
Guys, I have an idea.
What's your idea?
So, I have a spell called Speak with Animals.
Okay.
Where's this going?
So, typically, pretty much we just need to find a very long-lived animal, like a tortoise or a turtle of some kind. And I just kind of ask it questions about stuff
This
a long
is what you've
time
been
ago.
thinking about this whole time we've been
Not
here?
the whole time, no. This is like the past 2 minutes when I
Guys,
kind of realized.
Felix finally speaks. Okay, we can just give me a tortoise or something.
He's a druid. It makes sense.
Yeah, I can speak to animals, man.
Oh yeah.
Plus,
Okay.
it's the easiest way to like find someone that, well, not easiest way. They live a super long time if they are actually present here.
Mm-hmm.
Are animals affected by era changes?
Dance, DM, dance.
I do know the answer to that. I won't give you the
Of course
answer.
you do.
Of course.
Okay,
Because
well,
there's
maybe
a
when we get
logic
close to the
everything.
hotel, we can look for any animals around. And yeah, it could give us some.
See if they've noticed
These
anything.
people aren't telling us anything.
Yeah.
Mm.
We've
Good
spoken to
scout,
like one
Felix.
person.
Good one.
What?
Good idea.
Oh, thank you.
It sounded very sarcastic. Good
I
one.
thought you were talking to Will.
No. Yeah, so far I thought this place is pretty, relaxed and normal, but the Ultra Priest thing is kind of crazy. I haven't noticed anything super out of the ordinary.
Yeah, except all the vines everywhere. How are they growing out of sand?
Have you ever heard of a palm tree?
No.
Damn.
No.
Never mind then.
Have you ever heard of a cactus?
Don't think so.
There are some plants that can grow out of sand.
Oh, I don't really know anything else that's weird about this place. That's all I had.
Yeah.
Probably
It's a little odd.
Probably the Sea of Replenishment.
Yeah, it's probably it.
So like when people bathe in it, it like heals them or whatever. But I'm sure there's something you can do to extend your lifespan.
Yeah, you should go get your ankle fixed in there. Also, DM, has John been in the Sea of Replenishment? Has he done some laps in there since he's been here?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so
Lapping the sea.
So you know what it does.
yeah, what does he know about it? Like, how does it make him feel like?
What you know about it is it's like the water, like in the Caribbean, like that light blue water. It's like you can see why people want to go to it. It's a beautiful sea, and when you get in it, you feel revitalized. You feel like you have energy. Like when I'll say this: you've gone swimming in other, ponds and sorts of things like that, or just like other bodies of water. This one you could probably swim like all day and you feel like you don't like lose energy when you're swimming.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay. I say to the group, I'm like, you basically just never lose energy while you're in there. There have been a few days since I've been around here that, I do a really intense workout in the morning, like maybe throw some boulders down the side of a mountain or like go find a bear to wrestle. And, afterwards I just head into the water and I expect to be drained, but I swim for like, 10 hours and I'm fine. So,
well, see, that's another good thing. That's not, maybe if one of us gets our memories eaten, if we just go in that water, maybe it'll fix it.
yeah.
All right, well, we need to remember that though.
Water?
Y'all, they're just talking about the Sea of Replenishment right now. John swam in it.
Okay.
An hour swim is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Felt like nothing.
Felt like nothing.
Felt like nothing at all.
I'll say with y'all's roles, you see people decorating for things, and for a moment, I'll say that it kind of catches your eye, but you're thinking nothing of it. But I'll say John and Vita, you're thinking of what could people be decorating for, and I'll say for you, John, you remember that the day is day 2199, and that means tomorrow is day 2200. And I'll say all of you know, Vita, I'll say it being 2200 strikes a significant part in your mind. You think to yourself, maybe it's that. Maybe they're doing some celebration for that or something like that. And so you know that tomorrow is Hundreds Day, and that is celebrated across all of Sumia. It's kind of just a general, think of it like New Year's Eve, but more of a whole day affair, and maybe not
It
as
happens
huge.
every 100 days.
Every 100 days of an era. And so I'll say that, John, like you're the first to think of this as you're kind of walking through and looking at these decorations.
Oh yeah, it's Hundreds Day tomorrow.
Oh.
I wasn't really planning on doing anything. I bet the hotel's gonna be going crazy though.
Yeah, I hope there's
Why?
Oh goodness, this. Gosh, something.
What do you
bad
guys
happened
normally
with the-
do for Hundreds Day?
Nothing bad happened on Hundreds Day. I'm saying that the boy whatever's been afflicting this hotel will do worse to it on Hundreds Day.
I've usually worked at a few bars on that day just as a bouncer, and a lot of the time, people get a little crazy. So
Seems like kind of a hassle to pull this stuff up and down every 100 days.
I mean, it's not that much work.
have you ever celebrated it?
Well, not where I'm from. No, we don't.
Bro,
We
get
don't
it
do
from a
that kind of
parallel
stuff.
universe.
Where you're from?
What? Oh, I forgot. This is a new guy. Vita will say that out loud.
Yeah.
I'm from around the Tilgi Forest area.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say, Felix, for you, you've celebrated Hundreds Day, and everybody you've ever known has. just some added context.
Thinking back to Vita earlier, saying, "Why did everyone lie? Why are you guys lying?"
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to be noticed right now, to be completely honest. The tour guide
Get
wouldn't
away with
recognize
that.
me.
Yeah, I'm from Keem, and we always used to celebrate it. But
From Keem?
Keem, the village of Keem. You know Keem?
No.
No, I don't think I've heard of Keem.
No.
Where's Keem?
It's Qatar Plains. It's in the Qatar Plains.
Okay, well, let me check.
It's not
Okay.
on the Sumia map. It's not on the
Sumia map.
It's just a village. It's not like a huge town.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can go to Keem next.
No, I'm not allowed to go back there. And there's really no reason to.
What do you mean you're not allowed to go back?
Well, I already beat up everyone there, so like I don't know why I would go back.
Like actually, everyone?
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
I beat up everyone in my hometown because I was trying to be the strongest in the village, and I did it. And I left when I turned about, I don't know, 8 years old. So, then
Is that why you're here?
That's I just been kind of wandering around trying to get stronger.
That's when you say 8, that means like that's the same as my 8, right? And sorry,
No.
sidebar. So many years you said are 400 days.
Yeah.
So like 3,200 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
3,200 days.
Yep.
But you're here to beat up everyone in 08?
I stopped doing everybody because a lot of people are weaker now. But I just kind of came around here to see like is there any way to get stronger? The rejuvenating water sounded promising, so.
Sure.
Wow. Send this guy out first.
I can't go back to my village after I beat everyone up. The village leader kind of banned me, so.
That makes sense.
That's fair actually.
Makes sense.
Anyway.
I feel bad for them.
Anyway.
Cool.
So fighting the Ultra Priest actually sounds kind of nice. Like that would actually sounds kind of fun.
Well, yeah, we can do that. I mean,
it sounds strong.
That could be a challenge for you finally.
I don't want to like kill him. I just want to see how strong he is. Maybe he's got some tips.
Well, we kill people.
Oh.
Usually.
I mean, like in self-defense, or you just murder people?
We don't just murder people.
Okay.
No. But sometimes we just assume, and we just go.
I've definitely had my fair share of guesses, but
No,
I usually
don't think
feel
you've ever really assumed.
I kind of end up
Those
getting
guys
into
in that mountain, we just we beat them up and tied them up.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were just bleeding.
A lot of the time I just I get into these groups, and then some people get into over their heads, and I see them die, and I feel sort of bad. So, it's been a reoccurring thing.
Well, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really don't think we're gonna die. So.
Then one of you already did. Like, didn't one of you already die though?
I mean, yeah, a guy we knew died.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like one of us.
Yeah, he wasn't really one of us.
Gotcha. All right.
Oh,
all right then.
All right, yeah, it's cool.
That makes sense. Anyway, I think we're at the archives now.
Yeah, you see people are putting up more and more decorations, and as you approach, you see there's a large, just kind of archway, kind of carved into the vine. As you get closer, you can see that there's kind of a line of people, kind of coming out, and it looks like there is, there's a line, and it looks like you can see that there is an older man and a very light blue, or wait, let me confirm this. This is important. This is important. I need consistency. Bart Simpson. I will say. Sorry, 1 second. Wearing this light purple cloak as you all are approaching. It appears like people are in line and moving pretty quickly, like one person every couple seconds, going up to this person in light purple cloak in the middle of this archway carved into the vine. And so, do you all enter the line?
Yeah.
This is the line for the archives.
This is the archives. You can only imagine.
Yeah, I'll get in line.
Okay. Who's first in line?
I can go first.
Hey.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, we should hide Felix in between us.
I'll
I haven't been to the archives yet, so I want to tap on the shoulder of somebody like in line and go like, "Hey, excuse me."
Yeah, it's this younger woman. She says, "Yeah."
Why is there a line? Do we need to like pay to get in?
She says, "Oh, you're just getting your stamp, so you don't go in multiple times a day."
Can you like go in once per day?
She says, "Yep, one topic per day. It can be anything." And then she kind of points. She points up to the top of the arch, and you all see, kind of carved into the thing. It says, "One moment." Sorry. It says, "At the archives, you can learn anything and everything." And so she kind of points up at
everything.
Everything and anything, but only once per day.
Yep, one topic per day per person.
Oh no!
So wait, we're a group. Can we each take turns with each other's topic? Like, can everyone come for my topic, or do I just? How does this?
She says, "I guess you could all do the same topic, but normally people do different topics, whatever they're interested in."
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would I do your topic?
Well, no, I meant each of us.
You just took a sassy pills today.
We're each going to do a different topic, but I thought maybe since the 4 of us are together, we could all go to each other's topic together because we're going to talk about our topic when we leave. But
she shakes her head and she says,
the rules are the rules.
"No, yeah, we normally it's just one person," and she's by this point, or it's like one person can go at a time, and she's kind of gotten up to the part in line where she gets her stamp. Are you all going in?
Can we huddle real quick?
Take a second to coordinate our topics.
Yeah, you can leave the line.
Yeah.
Okay, John's got to go in first because this honestly somewhat sounds like we might not come out.
Alden, are you comfortable going alone?
Yeah.
All right. Why do you think we might not come out? I mean, certainly not going to kill us in there.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying of most people we've interacted with and places we've gone in overall.
Why did you say that? Oh, I don't
something
know.
bad happened.
They seem nice enough here.
God.
Okay. Well, what should we all do? Yeah.
I think we'll be all right. I'm still technically a member of the Vein Breakers. I hope they don't fuck around with us because of that. So
I'm sure we'll be fine. So what are the topics? We need to ask about conflicts at the Greenway, and perhaps monsters of any kind in this area.
I was thinking mainly monsters that deal with memory loss.
Do you want to cover that topic, Jean?
I can do that. I've been talking about it. I'm not that good of a reader, though, so...
Vida, what do you got?
Well, we got... I don't know.
The thing says anything and everything.
It's... we need to ask about...
Wait.
We've got to do one fun one. Wait.
Everything and anything?
Are you saying
anything and everything?
What if we just directly ask about the crimes going on at the hotel?
Well, I think that would be good for one of us to try. Unless it backfires and they are involved in and I take my voice down a notch.
It's worth a shot. They say everything and anything, so why not just kind of hone in?
Yeah.
and one of us we can, and if that doesn't work, we can cover broader topics.
So should we go in one at a time and then come out?
Yeah. Let's not waste. I think we have to go in one at a time.
I mean, like come out and talk, like not the rest of us wait in line. Like we huddle each time and relay.
Maybe.
Oh, that might be a better idea. Yeah, so we can find what we ask.
Hang on. I'm gonna kind of like walk up, like past the line. The classic skip the line, talk to the person at the front desk.
Yeah, you can directly talk. I'll say that right now there doesn't appear to be a line. It's a pretty quick moving line, so you're good for right now.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the front desk person and I say, hello. When it says anything and everything, it's a silly question. We've never been to a place like this. Does that literally anything and everything, or like anything you have books about, or is this some magic where you divine the answer?
He says, "Well, I guess it can't predict the future, but everything of the past is the best way I can put it. But yeah, there's no secrets here at the archives. Anything you can think of.
Anything?
And that works."
It says, "If we have it."
So
this place is gonna piss me off.
So it is an archive. You don't just have like a magic box that answers the questions.
He shakes his head. There's no magic here. It's packed with
like
books.
What if I'm okay?
I come back and I say it's not magic. They just have books.
Oh, it's just a glorified library.
Well, it seems like and I look around. This seems like a quite nice library.
What a stupid slogan.
I thought I was going to be anything and everything.
I mean, but he also did say, I asked him, and he said, I said, well, can it just tell me anything? And he said, well, anything in the past. So I don't, maybe they have all historical writings ever?
All right, well, in that case, then I guess we could be more specific. What if we just asked about, like, instances of memory loss at the Greenway or something?
I don't think we're likely to get any. If the memory loss is happening at the Greenway, I think we're the only people who know about it. I think we're more likely to get hits asking about what creatures that can lock memory or break people's memories, and also,
or you know what, or spells.
Sure, that would be useful too. I think also we'd want an interest in groups and individuals who have reason to wish the Greenway harm.
We should add. No, what we need is a history of crimes in that district.
Do you want to do that one? Do you want to ask that for your topic? All right.
Yeah.
So, John, you have creatures and spells that can inflict memory loss on people. That's your topic.
All right.
All right. Vida, you and me. What else do we got?
So we've got the method of the memory loss, and we've got the history of the area with crimes.
As you said, I'm gonna raise my hands, like lower them, so I can like lower your voice, and I say, do we want to ask about why, in the most roundabout way possible, why they hate our friend Alden?
No, not at all. We know why.
What do we know? Remind me, because I as the player might just be forgetting.
We know that the goddess blames me for the storm.
Yeah.
She thinks it's my fault, so she's put a hit out on my head.
Right.
That's crazy, man.
So it's not like a historical precedent. Yeah, it is. It genuinely is.
That's pretty unfortunate.
We could ask about the Ultra Priest, but I don't know what we could stand to learn at this point.
I wonder how many books in the library are even approved by the Ultra Priest.
Good question. Well, I think it might be worth asking what organizations within the city have beef with the Veinbreakers. Is that an illicit organization?
I don't think it's not a Veinbreaker specific issue. The disappearances.
Yeah, they're just. Violet the princess was taken, or not princess, but she was the one taken.
It's not the Veinbreaker specific issue, but it could be a situation where people are being intercepted. The Veinbreaker's agents are being intercepted by someone who doesn't want them to know about it. If we have a better topic, I'm happy to take it, but I think it's worthwhile.
I think something that I do want to say, and you know me, I'm not a very above board kind of guy, but I will say that I can't really convey that this is a structure that is, in terms of volume, so much larger than the Burj Khalifa, right? Like it is something like all of these vines are, right? I can't possibly put that into even my mind as like a character, right? So if this thing says anything and everything, yeah, sure, like it's books, but this is a library on the levels of it's almost impossible to fathom, right? Like as us as people. So
I think mostly
essentially,
it rules out
like
personal stuff, like about us or our situation.
yeah.
I
So
think anything that's been written down.
Yeah. So what I want to emphasize as like the GM, this is a little bit of an opportunity for you all as characters, if you want to. It's entirely up to each of you to learn about anything Sumian, right? So you can use it for this mission. You can absolutely do that if you want to learn about memories, monsters, or or like the Green Way. But what I want to emphasize, just because of the fact that we can't visualize how much knowledge must be in this place, that you all as players, it's probably hitting you that like, holy shit, you can learn anything about anything. Like, like I'm sure there's been lots of things, just as an example, throughout this campaign that are kind of dead ends, some question marks about, various parts of Sumia lore that you don't know about. Like, I mean, there's a lot of shit that could be in here that you don't particularly know. So the only reason I bring that up is not because like I want to push you towards any direction, but I do want to emphasize that this could be bigger than just your current circumstances.
That helps.
Of
When you're
trying
saying it's bigger
to.
than the Burj Khalifa is insane.
Yeah, that's unfathomable.
Here, Stephen, I think we should focus this one on the mission. I think we could take a second or a third day going at this thing tomorrow or the day after for personal hijinks. But I think now we focus on the mission.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, don't worry, Stephen. I have questions to ask this thing for myself.
I got loads of questions.
We can also probably pre-fire a question to Stephen so he can really ponce about it.
But I got it all in my head. Don't worry.
Sumi is
Okay,
Stephen.
well
Let's
go.
Well, we don't have our. We're still short 2 topics.
I'll ask something. That'll come to mind about Violet.
Okay, well, you go last. Let's first send.
You go last.
You go last.
Because you might figure out
some time
something
to
to follow up on.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, dumbass, fucking idiot! You go last. Fuck you.
It's the right spot to put me in.
T-bar toast. All right, send in, John.
John, you're going first,
right.
and it's just John. Everybody else is not. It's just
one
staying
topic per
outside.
person, yeah.
We're info-maxing one at a time.
All right. Well, you walk up to the older man, John, and he says, "You got a topic?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Oh, you can tell the topic to the next person." He just says, "Hold out your
okay.
left hand." And
all right, I take out my left hand without taking my gauntlet off.
and he kind of pauses for just a moment. He says, "Oh, it'll work." And then he takes his hand, and it looks like there's some like wooden thing attached to it, and he stamps it down on your hand, and you can see on top of your gauntlet, you see what looks to be a very crude icon of a book with a circle around it. It looks like your gauntlet has been stamped with something. And he says, "That'll be gone by the morning. You can come by tomorrow." Wait, sorry, no, we're going to be closed tomorrow. It's the 100th day tomorrow, but you can come, after that. And he kind of ushers you in.
All right, thanks.
Or was that left or right hand?
Left hand.
It's left hand.
That sucks.
It was the top of the. It was the top of the hand.
It was the top. Yeah.
It was the top. But he says,
"Clearly, the tattoo is not magical and not going to do something. It's fine."
It's fine. He says, and you walk in, and it looks like you're in a wedge of like this thing is like, remember, like 1,000 feet wide. So it looks like you're in kind of like a pizza wedge, like maybe eighth of the base of this vine, and you can see that there is with some rope and these wooden spikes. You can see that looks like kind of like the TSA, like there's one of those long lines that kind of feeds in. You can see that kind of winds back and forth with these sections, so it kind of funnels everybody. And you can see within the inside of this vine what you'd almost imagine, like, if you cut open imagine a cucumber but with no seeds, like kind of the stalky inside, maybe less wet than that. I'm trying to think of something like celery. No, not celery. Celery's pretty. Like if you were to just cut through like a really thick tree branch, like that kind of green, like barky inside is the best way I can put it. So it's like that in the entire interior. It's look like you've almost kind of cut into a huge vine, and it's like you're walking on something that kind of like feels like wood, but it's this light colored substance, because it's very obvious that this is like a living plant that you are within. It doesn't just have the look of a vine, it is a vine. And as you walk in, it kind of leads winds a little bit. The line is not very long, so it just takes you like a minute or two, but it says as you're kind of winding up, you see another light blue member who's kind of just walking back and forth up the side walls of the line, and he kind of yells out to the whole group. There's some people in front of you, and he says, "Remember, make your topic specific. It can't be something, for example," and it looks like he's just tired of saying this. It looks like he said it like a lot today. And he says, something specific, not, if your topic isn't bears is way too broad. If you want to say the bears that live in the Tilgi Forest, that's a little bit better, but try and make it as specific as it can. Maybe the diet or the anatomy of a bears who live in the Tilgi Forest. It sounds almost robotic the way he's saying it, because he's probably said it so many times, but he kind of just walks up, and then as you kind of get a little bit further in line, after like 30 seconds, he says it again, but with a different example about some other animal. So it seems like you need to have a specific topic. So ponder on that a little bit, and you can have as much time as you want for whatever specific topic you want. But as you get to the end of the line, you can see that across the back wall that you've gotten to now after like 100 feet in, you see against the back wall, there's probably about like, I think 12 different little cubbies that are within the back wall. Again, still made out of all the same material. And within these cubbies, you can see it looks like people kind of walk up to the next open one. Some of them have no one sitting there. It's little desks that are within each cubby. Some of them have, and others have people talking to it. And I'll say that in one of the cubbies, as you're kind of waiting there next in line, one of the cubbies, it looks like suddenly from just appearing out of the back, you see one of the cubbies just a person and this other almost being that you now notice are in all of the others. But this being is not a creature you've ever seen before, but it looks like kind of humanoid, maybe about 4 feet tall, but it has a massive head, like like Megamind head, like huge head,
little green man,
yeah,
little green alien.
And it looks like a human. It looks like a human, but if you just kind of expanded his head and made him tall.
Oh my god!
So kind of walks out with just someone else who appears to be within a lane, and kind of walks away, and the new person that you've never met before or never seen their ancestry before kind of gestures to you and says, "Next!" And you walk up, and it's this little wooden desk that he's sitting within. As you get closer to this cubby, you see that at the back, which you just assumed to maybe be like a wall of sorts, is actually, it looks like almost a waterfall, but upwards. It looks like the back wall is not, it looks like water is rushing, but it looks like it's going upwards. And it's just the back wall of this little cubby. And as you walk up to it, I'll say, John, you've never seen anything like this. As you're walking up to it, the person in front of you with the 4 foot tall, large head being says, "What's your topic?"
Oh man. I was curious about monsters and spells that cause memory loss.
Memory loss, he says. Well, monsters or spells, you have to choose one. That's too broad.
You serious?
He's just looking at you blankly, just nods a little.
And
I'll say he's also wearing a light purple cloak. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, you go.
I guess monsters then.
He nods his head.
More
Very
exciting.
well. And he holds up his hand and looking like he wants you to hold it.
I kind of slap it. Oh, just kind of like
high five him.
He slaps it. You slap it, and he goes, "No, I need to hold on to you. Have you ever done this before?"
No.
He says,
No.
"Well, hold on to me. I'm not going to let go of you, but we're going to go up this, okay?" And he kind of points to the wall of the water.
I hold his hand, try not to crush it.
And as you start to walk forward, and he grips onto you, and he's surprisingly strong for his grip on your wrist. Like, you know, you're not used to that.
By matching his grip strength.
Give me an athletics check real quick, just to see,
Mog this fucking idiot. Mog him.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Get his ass! Get his ass!
He kind of looks like you grab on. That's crazy. You grab on a little bit harder, and he kind of opens his wide eyes a little bit, and he goes, "Well, you're certainly holding on. Don't worry, it's not that terrifying." And he starts to walk forward, and as you get closer, this wall is not a wall, but it looks like you can kind of see the back of it a little bit. It looks like a tube of just water that's maybe like 4 feet, 5 feet wide in all directions, and it looks like there's just kind of this cutout point that you can enter, but somehow no water is splashing in. But he says, "Hold your breath and close your eyes if you want to," and he kind of steps in, and your body is suddenly pulled upwards, and you're now underwater, rushing upwards, and you can feel just the water kind of pushing against you, but not as fierce as you would think, because you're kind of following with the water. Imagine if you're like in a jet stream, or like you're getting pulled away in a current of like a river. It almost feels
like it's a
that.
magma elevator in Minecraft.
Exactly like that. You're getting pushed up through the water, and you're holding on. I'll say that with your strength of 35, you do not need to worry about losing your grip. And all of a sudden, you get pulled out, and for a moment, you're just drenched in water, and and so is this guy in front of you, and he kind of hands you a towel, and he says, "Quick, this will dry you off." And he hands you what appears to be a towel. Do you dry yourself off?
Yeah, I do.
This shit better be magic.
I'll say as you're drying off, you can feel that every time you put it on yourself, it's like it's completely dry as soon as you go off of it. It's not like a normal towel. It's essentially like this magical towel, like you said.
Oh shit,
Craig.
Can I keep this?
He says, "No, property of the archives, unfortunately, but it is very cool the first time you've done it." And as you're kind of drying up, as you're drying off, you look ahead, and you now see that you are within kind of a floor, and what looks to be just this floor to ceiling is probably like 20 feet tall, and there are just rows and rows of bookshelves. Bookshelves just lying floor to ceiling, probably every like 6 feet or so, and it looks like they're just packed with books. And it's very dark in here. You can only see it off of the edge, because as soon as you came up, there was a kind of this lantern with a white light. It doesn't appear to be a flame of any sort. It just appears to be some light within this kind of glass cage that the person, the worker there of the archives, kind of picks up. And he says, "Follow me. We'll be at the monsters with memory, or that take memories shortly." And you walk maybe, you kind of pass through some shelves, and you're just looking all around you. You looking at anything particular? You just kind of glancing
Are there
around.
other people on the floor?
I'll say that as you're kind of weaving through, maybe in a little bit in the distance, you can see similar white light as if someone else is walking through, but you don't see anybody. You can only see kind of the emanations of this white light. And I'll say, in stark contrast to where you've been outside and these crowded places, it is quite quiet here as you're walking through. And
Do I
I'll
see
say,
anything like this?
You see. No, you do not.
Right.
You do not. And as you enter, or as you're kind of walk for maybe like 30, 40 seconds, and he says, "Hold this, please." And he kind of hands you the lamp,
Right.
and he starts kind of climbing up the bookshelves, and you can see that in the grooves in the shelves, it looks like there's almost these ridges for someone to clasp onto. It looks like these shelves are designed to be climbed. And he starts climbing up them. And then he comes back down with like 2 or 3 books, and he says, "These should do your fancy. Read as much as you like from them." And he kind of hands you these 3 books, and they look old. They're kind of, one of them's a little bit larger than the other ones in terms of like every dimension. Basically, the other 2 are a little bit skinnier. And he kind of hands you these books. And he says, "You can take as long as you'd like to read them."
What time do you guys close?
He says, "Well, we don't close until midnight, and that's only because Hundred's Day is tomorrow. We'd normally open 24 hours a day."
Okay. Well, what happens when I want to leave? Like, what do I do?
He says, "We just go back."
You're just gonna stay here the whole time?
He kind of nods
Can you
his
help
head
me
a little
read?
bit. He says, "Oh, absolutely. What are you looking for in specific?" And he says, and he'll add to this. He says, "We have everything here in the archives, so no judgments from me."
All right. Well, I'm looking, for monsters that deal with memory loss, not complete amnesia, but like just blanks in memory. And if they're local to, well, OAID, that'd be nice. That'd be good.
And then he's kind of nodding along.
Maybe something on the sneakier side as well.
And he's kind of like acknowledging everything you're saying. He says, "What kind of scale are we thinking? Large scale, vast memory loss, or just one individual? He says, "I know there's some
a good
monsters."
amount of people.
And he says,
Good amount of people.
"Good amount of people? Okay.
That could fit it within inside a hotel, maybe."
And he starts kind of flipping through, and you can see as he's in the larger book, and he's kind of flipping through, and you can look based off of the light that, every single one of these pages has like, looks like some drawing of a creature. It looks almost like a monster booklet of sorts. And he's kind of flipping through, and he says, "Well, there's," and he says, "Well, there's this being," and he kind of shows it to you, and he says, "What I'll say is that I'm going to give you 3 monsters. We don't have to role play it, but he's going to give you 3 monsters essentially. One of them, and I'll give brief descriptions of them. I'm not going to name them just yet. So you just kind of name them as much because I haven't thought of names for them, and I don't want to consult just my random list that I have. I want a little bit better names." Alton, that'd be
Holy
crazy.
shit! No.
Yeah, sorry, Alton. That was the
Alden,
big.
Vita,
That was the big reveal.
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Memory beast. I'll say one of the creatures looks like this terrifying kind of like shadowy hawk-like creature, and it says, "Well, this creature appears to shriek so loud that it can temporarily make you lose your sense of self, make you frightened, and then once you return from your delirium, you can't really think about, or you can't, once you return from your delirium, you can't you can't remember quite where you were, and he goes to this other creature. So one of them is kind of the shadowy, bird-like creature, and then there's another where he's going through. He says, "This one maybe look like a contender," and he says, "By the way, what are you asking this for? Are you just interested in these beings, or again, no judgment?"
I got into a fight and I lost my memory after I hit my head really hard. So the only thing I can think of is that, obviously nothing physically bad can happen to me. So it must have been a monster that affects memory.
And he kind of nods his head as if that made sense. And he's like, "Yeah, He says, "Okay."
Oh,
So some kind of bludgeoning, perhaps. And he kind of is flipping through. He says, "Well, there's this being," and he kind of shows it to you, and it looks like almost this squid-like being with a whole bunch of various tentacles. And he says, "It looks like these tentacles can kind of wrap around a foe, and it looks like he's reading more. He says, "Oh no, sorry, wrap around a foe's mind and extract memories. Maybe this is something." And he's kind of looking through, and he says,
"How big is that squid thing?"
He says, "Oh, this one's quite a beast. I'm trying to show you only ones that are quite large, because you said it would be a large number of things. This one may be a little bit of more of a contender because."
Well, hang on. What? Perhaps we should ask about whose mouth's open so wide.
That's for later, because it says, "How did they open so much?" It's for later. I was just saying later.
Well, I meant large as in like it can get a bunch of people, maybe not all at once. Like it's a repeat offender.
And he's
like
kind of nodding his head. He'll say, "Oh, I see. Okay." And he keeps reading through. He says, and after a moment, it looks like he's reading one, and it doesn't exactly equate with what you're saying. He kind of goes through, and he says, "Well, this other beast could be something more like it," and he kind of shows it to you, and it looks like it's this large, kind of like snake-like being. And he says, "Well, this one, something about, or no, let me rewind. Let me think for just like a solid 10 seconds.
One, who
kills you?
It's this third beast that he shows you looks like kind of this two-headed creature that like is almost connected like a ball at a base, and then it has like two kind of tube-like heads. And he's like, this one maybe a little bit more of a contender, what you're saying. One of the heads appears to sing a lullaby to put some others to sleep, while the other one eats its victims. So maybe this is something that's more up your speed, or more for what you're looking for. Is there anything other and specific that you're looking for?
Maybe like monsters that affect memory. Oh, my brain doesn't work that well. I'm sorry. Maybe affects memory, but also, did John see the paper?
Yes, you all saw the paper. Yeah. I'll say you. I think John would remember.
Yeah.
The opening
how do they
mouth,
open so much? I hear them.
Why are they
screaming?
smiling?
Do these words mean anything to you? Oh God, why are they smiling? And how do they open so much? I hear the screaming. Does that
I'll say, give me. Let me roll.
I'm laughing at the face Steven made. Steve seems to
Let me roll something. I'll say that you notice for just a brief moment, like, normally this worker has kind of just been nodding along with everything nonchalantly. His eyebrows go up for just a moment, and then he kind of go back down. He says, no, those don't mean anything to me personally. Is that something to do with the monsters that you're looking? I thought you were in a fight.
Yeah, maybe, but this is all. I'm also kind of curious about that. It's something of relevancy to the monsters in the fight. Well, your eyebrows went up there for a second.
Says, well, I don't judge, but I was just slightly surprised. Are you saying, is this something the monster said to you? I'm just trying to think about the context.
One of the people who also fought the monster wrote that down. Do I need to make a deception check at this point?
I will say no, because I'll say no. You do not need to. I won't say why, but
Alien
you do
does
not need to.
care.
Yeah,
Does not give a shit.
essentially boils down to that. Is he's not trying to. He doesn't care if you're lying, I guess is the best way to put it. He's just trying to help you. He says, well, smiling, he says, well, maybe the bird creature and this two-headed one, says, and he kind of shows you the drawing of the two-headed one. Says, well, the one that kind of sings lullabies, maybe that smiles, opening up. I mean, these are very large creatures, and he kind of points to the one that, like the octopus squid looking one. He says, this one has quite a large mouth. Maybe he saw it being someone being eaten, and he kind of, he looks like he's asking a question. He says,
I'm reading the paper again.
He says, I think, there you go.
I heard someone call my name behind me. Turn around, no one. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think these are what I'm going after. I think it's more like just kind of fucks with your mind in general. Might plant, memories, remove them, mess with you in the moment.
He says, well, based off of all your descriptions, these are the monsters that I can best help you find. I don't know if you can attempt to find one better yourself. You have more of the details of what specifically you're looking for, but here are some of the monsters. And he kind of, points to the three that he had pointed out to you before.
All right, it'll do for now.
Says you're all done.
Can I ask one last question?
Sure.
What are you?
What
are you? I've never seen somebody that looks like you. Just kind of curious. You're really strong too. Like, have you been training? Are you just kind of that way?
He says, "Oh, are you asking about my ancestry?"
Well, no, like, I'm a human,
fine.
right? I'm a human.
That's fine. Yes.
What are you?
I'm a Jofi.
Sorry, a Jofi or a Dofi?
A Jofi.
Jofi. Joshi. Jofi, all right. And do you go, like, do you work out?
He says, no, I think, and he kind of looks down at his hand. He says, I think I'm just naturally this strong. I take it as a compliment that you think I'm strong.
Yeah, you're pretty built, man. But all right, I got to get back down to my,
He says, yes, follow me. And he kind of, leads you. He has to take your hand again. And I'll say you'll notice as you start walking up, the water has actually changed direction as it's going down now, the tube, and you step in, and once again you fall, or it's you're being pulled by the water. You exit, and he says, "Well, thank you for visiting the archives. You can come and visit again tomorrow." Or what? No, sorry, they all keep making mistakes. Tomorrow's Hundreds Day, but you can come in 2 days' time if you want to look for more specific monsters. I'm sorry if it wasn't a full help today, but we can look more later.
You're fine. Just doing your job. It's all good.
And then you
Happy
leave.
Hundreds Day. Yep.
Yeah, he says Happy Hundreds Day.
I leave.
All right.
Wow.
You see John maybe after about like 15 minutes
of role playing. Yeah, enjoy that.
Yeah, I think 15 minutes. A lot less descriptions for the next one, just because you all know exactly what it looks like the next times you go through. But John appears after about, I'd say, like 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes.
Yep. Hey.
Do we? Yeah. So do we have any follow-ups from that? We could have someone else ask about spell effects, but I also think it might be more useful to ask about if there's a history of people losing memory in OA.
Or just that hotel in general. Like,
what was the name of that third monster?
That they didn't have names.
No names, but like just like a two-headed monster with one distracting and the other eating. A squid-like monster appears to wrap around its tentacles around heads, take memories, and then a screeching monster, a shadowy bird creature that shrieks so loud.
Yeah.
Confuses
could not
those.
even be a monster. It might not even be a monster. Might not even be a monster.
I think, yeah, I mean, okay. Yeah, I think we should send in someone to ask about the hotel and the history there of the region and the hotel specifically. You might have
one thing to mention. He kind of, was taken aback when I mentioned the thing, Sarath wrote in his journal about screaming and smiling. Maybe if you specifically ask about that, you might be led to something more, focused.
Mm.
But I'm definitely going back in there, 2 days from now. They got a lot of stuff, and they might have
Getting
something
back
about
in line.
how I get stronger. So,
All right. Well, Alden, you said you wanted to do the Greenway Hotel
You
area?
do air quotes? Sorry.
Alden.
No, that's me
Alden.
doing
You gotta
that.
be.
I know. I just like
All
to
right,
imagine
guys, you
it's
gotta be
happening in the
secret.
game.
All right, Alden.
Alden, wink, wink.
Do you want to go next and ask about the Greenway and the hotel?
I'm gonna ask about the
Probably
history
can't
of
ask about both,
disappearances.
yeah. History of disappearances?
That's mine. That's what I'm asking about.
Well, like just general disappearances
In
within
Greenway.
OA? Okay, cool. Hit it.
I ask about the history of disappearances in the Greenway.
Skip to the alien man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
You
see everything.
Yeah, you see it this time.
You see the Jofi.
Yeah, we heard it.
You already
I
know
keep
all
picturing this guy as like he's just a regular humanoid shape with a megamind head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, huge head.
God.
It's crazy how big his head is, and he's just like
All
holding
right,
it
we're
up.
moving on from that. Yeah.
Moving
on from that.
He says disappearances in the Greenway district. Any kind of appearances? Anything specific?
Disappearances where people go missing. Yes.
He says
like a list.
Says, oh, just a list of everyone who's disappeared.
Reports from the guards. Like information on that. Like there's a database for not data. I wouldn't use those words. You keep like lists of that stuff, right?
He says, so recent. Any time period that you're looking for?
From now to as far back as you have.
He says, well, that's a little bit too broad. We have hundreds of books on that, but how?
Okay, well, select the number. How many years? I'm looking for patterns, so it's measured in years.
And he says we could do this era.
Okay, let's do this era.
He says, fantastic, and he leads you up the water spout, hands you the towel and everything. I'll say you're in it a little bit longer than John was in it. You obviously don't know that, but just for some fun context. But you're in it for maybe about like 30, 40 seconds. You're going to start to get a little worried that you're not going to be leaving this water. Yeah, you're kind of going high up into the air, like a quarter mile, but still quite a distance. But as you start to weave through, and I'll say as you're weaving through, you do not notice any other white lights around. This kind of library. It looks exactly the same as what Alden saw. But as you enter, it kind of climbs up quite a bit of the shelves almost near the top, and he climbs back down. And he just hands you one solid thick book, and he says, well, here is a book for all of the disappearances of the Greenway region, or the Greenway district in the past era. It may not be fully updated for the past few hundred days or so, but it certainly is up to date for quite a bit recently.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll say, what specifically are you looking for, especially if you're just reading it? And he says you can take as long as you want.
So I want to see if there are any other, if it's like consistent, like, oh, people are always kind of going missing.
Mm-hmm.
No one gone missing before, and it's suddenly just exploded out of nowhere, or is it like bursts, pardon me, of disappearances that just end?
Pardon me.
Burst. I'll say, give me. What would be a reading check? Just perception.
I have no idea.
I've also seen it done that if it's from a pure level of like exhaustion, as in like, can you physically read fast enough? If you're pressed for time, that could be acrobatics or athletics, or just like
My
a genuine
acrobatic
strain.
eyes.
I'll say a perception check for this.
Okay.
You're not trying to quickly read something. You're just trying to look for patterns. Oh. I'll say. Now that's sheesh. Just like when you were reading through Vita's book, Simply Murder, you're able to kind of quickly pick up on a lot of patterns, the gist of it. The Greenway region, I'll say the accounts that you read in this book are, in total, over the past era, which is only like 5.5 years, or like 5 years of data. But I'll say that in terms of people that have gone missing, it's pretty rare, but the times that they have gone missing are extensively documented. Think of it like, maybe not newspaper clippings per se. I don't know if they have a newspaper in 08. I'd have to think on that. But just reports from the Zaroon Guard about, someone being missing from a hotel, and they were like found dead in their hotel room, apparently overdosing on some kind of drug of some sort. As you're reading through, it looks like, there was maybe a massacre at the beginning of the era, at the very beginning of the era, when someone went mad from the era change, and killed a large number of people at one of the resorts. I'll say at the Greenway Resort specifically, I'll say that some of them, and based off of your Nat 20, I'll say that within the past, it's only documented to like 200 days, or up to like 100 days in the past. I'll say like the latest date is like 2100 that you find, or around that. So I'll say for like the 300 days of documentation beforehand, the Greenway Resort does pop up a good amount of times, like of the people that are missing. Like in total, there's probably only like 100 people that have gone missing in Greenway since Vidana, or some kind of like murder case, missing people, kidnappings, ransoms, things like that, because it is pretty high-end people, so it's most of the time some kind of kidnapping situation. But I'll say the Greenway Resort does pop up a considerable amount within the past, 100 or like 200, 300 days, documented in this book. And the various patterns that I'll say you pick up on these ones are true missings. It looks like the book you've picked up is kind of just crimes or people being murdered. And there were a couple of missings in the beginning of the book, but towards the later, a lot of them kind of end with the facts of that there are a lot shorter entries, and it's just that they disappeared. I'll say that. I'll say one final thing based off of your nat 20. I'll say that one of the ones specifically named. Let me bring it up real quick. It is a person named Zen's. Wait, no. Rewind time. I'll say that it is someone named Kem Zala. Is someone that maybe in like the or not maybe, sorry. Moment. Just my mind is going 1,000 different places at once. Kem Zala on the day 2053 went missing. And I'll say that what looks to be, kind of a recent addition. I'll say like the last third of the book is kind of empty. It looks like things are being written in it periodically. I'll say that kind of a more recently written and dated entry into Kem Zala's, because most of them are just kind of missing. It says that Kem Zala's remains were found in an alley, or not an alleyway, near the base around some dumpsters by the Greenway Resort, and their remains were only identifiable because the head was still intact, but the rest of the body was almost goo-like in nature. I'll say that. That is kind of one thing that strikes your fancy, is not only that the Greenway Resort seems to be mentioned quite a few times within the few hundred days of
goo-like.
Goo-like. Yes, it is. That is, it says it in more elegant words than that, but essentially it gets the point that the only way they could identify that this was Kem Zala was the head was still intact and could be identified by the family.
Well, that sucks.
So there you go.
No kidding. No kidding.
Okay. And there's no patterns or anything else that jumps out to me. It seems like this is not something that's really happened before.
No, and it seems like the Greenway, I'll say what you notice as a pattern is that the entries are mostly very short for all the disappearances. And I'll say at the Greenway Resort within the past 100 days is like 20. But,
Jesus.
The vein breaker Sir Ross said that, like, in the past 100 days or so, which are not documented here, there have been, it's gone up to 100. So, or like hundreds. I think he said 200 or something like that, if I remember correctly. But key is that it seems to be growing faster in terms of the frequency of disappearances around the Greenway Resort.
Is there like a what's the word? I don't know. Formula, something like every X number of days, it's like first it's one person, 4 days pass, and then it's 2 people found dead or reported missing.
Yeah, I'll say based
Is there like a rate or formula for how it increases?
I'll say, yeah, based off your nat 20, in terms of if you're just looking at disappearances from the Greenway Resort, at first it's, a difference of like 20 days, and then it's like 15 days. And it seems like the frequency starts getting to the point where it's every other day. Once in the documentation, it seems like there's some report of a missing person. But again, all of the entries are very short.
It just seems kind of like matter of fact, like on this day, this person disappeared. And I'll say based off of the list that you all received, you recognize some of the names just on the very bottom of the list of, people that have disappeared. Maybe, a couple of them kind of match up in your head. It's like, oh, I've seen that name before towards the very end. So it looks like it lines up.
Gotcha. Okay. That is it for me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you get led back down once again through the water. And you all see Felix come out of the archives.
So the disappearances
Yeah.
don't really seem to be like a pattern of disappearances before this incident. And we already knew they were getting quicker, but
so she was targeted.
Not
Probably for
necessarily.
who she is.
Not necessarily.
Oh.
There's more people. As more people go missing, the amount of time in between the reported abductions is lower. So,
I think I want to go and ask about present and recent historical enemies of like patrons in the hotel. Like
I think it's a monster. I think it's a monster, and it needs more. Oh yeah, there's also one of the dead bodies that was found was only identifiable because of a head.
Oh.
The body was turned into like a gory paste, like a goo. I think it's a monster that eats people, and it grows bigger, and it needs more to eat. I don't know how the memory part works into that, but
okay, so it's just getting
it's
hungry.
like ramping up more and more. So I think it's something like that.
So do you think that Violet is already turned into goo?
I have no idea. Like, it's just a guess. I don't really know if it's like eaten like properly, or
Oh
like
man.
if this is a monster, it's a fucked up supernatural one. So I'm not really sure how it consumes food. It might not need like the meat. It might just like drain their spirit or something. I have no idea.
Whoa.
But
Okay.
I guess there's a chance, but I don't really know.
We could ask about like 08 folklore and see if there's any
That might be a
historical
good idea,
story
yeah.
of a creature like this. What all? Okay, we have creature
or just creatures in general. It doesn't need to be 08, because I was also thinking while I was waiting in line, a lot of rich people show up here, and they're all really weird, and
True.
kind of like boast in weird ways with their money. So it's not unlikely that someone bought an expensive exotic, I do air quotes, animal to like show off, bring it here. So I think it doesn't need to be 08 specific. A lot of people travel, so there's a lot of travel to here, and they could bring who knows what from around the world.
Okay.
If it was a creature that gets brought here by someone, then it's got to be a pet. So like,
just because someone kept it as a pet doesn't mean it was domesticated. But yeah,
the follow on would be to ask about maybe not like house pets, but like ask about a survey of exotic animals that might be kept as pets and have the physical capability to do this. I think I talked about that, and it's pretty specific.
Worth a
Do we
shot.
think
Yeah.
it has anything to do with on this day?
Was there anything to suggest that, Steven?
The days didn't seem to line up. I mean, I'll say that on the day 2000, you noticed 2 of the dates were 2 people were missing on that day at the Greenway Resort, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, it's I'll say you'll know from Hundreds Day that like the thousands, hundreds days are a little bit bigger of a deal than just your average Hundreds Day.
Also, there's the whole thing of the guy writing down people smiling. So maybe what if it's a creature, it has to instill some sort of hallucination.
Yeah, we can try people with pets, but I'm not so sure. I think that's a lower priority just because, I don't know.
And we don't even know if it is a pet. That would be a waste if we ask about pets and then it's nothing.
To keep it open instead of narrowing down on something we don't even know is true.
I don't think we need to ask about like the rich person avenue. We don't need to ask that in the archives. I think it's just something to keep in mind when we look around, because after this we're gonna have to go sneak around.
We could ask about ways to get people's memories back.
Yeah, actually, that would be a great idea.
I'll do that. Did my character, did Turlon see them stamp John's left hand?
And the same happened with you, Felix. I'll say the back of your hand was stamped.
Did I see it happen to either of them?
I mean,
Like,
yeah, I'd imagine it would be shown. Yeah, I'd imagine you all would share that.
They didn't ask you to look at your left arm, did they?
No, they just asked for a stamp.
Look at it. No, they just stamped it.
They'll even do a gauntlet. So if you want to put on like a glove or something.
I think they'd look a bit silly on me, but I appreciate the offer.
Why do you have like a weird birthmark or something?
I guess he doesn't know. I say I don't worry about it. And
okay.
Also, I'm sorry, I just been thinking, Steven, does your shirt say ground swole? Because it's like a workout shirt for people who work at Groundswell. Wow.
You got it.
You're ground swole, Steven. Sorry. I will go and ask about ways to revert recent memory loss. Magic, pharmaceutical, or otherwise.
Let me think a moment on the specificity.
Good word.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Ozempic shows up. Memory loss and memory restoration.
Yeah,
it's a miracle drug. Jesus.
It really is. There's nothing wrong. I'll think the Jofi that you see would say, if you're learning about spells, if they exist, because they certainly do exist, do you know how to learn spells? Are you looking to copy them down?
We need a method by which we were to do it. I work with a group of people. One of them has the magic capability, but I don't know if they could take it down a written spell. I don't believe they could. But if a written, taken down spell is all we can find, it's better than nothing. Ideally, a ritual, a place we could go to, some sort of alchemical concoction would be preferable. But really, we just want to know any ends about how this might be done.
Kind of nods to you and he says, well, we do have spells, and we normally have people where they want to come in and copy some spells if they're able to cast it, but if you don't think that's viable, then yeah, we certainly have some alchemical formulas where you could look at the history of or the concoctions and ways to get people's memories back, unclear their mind.
None of the people in our group are alchemically gifted, but should we? Do you think there's one in Oade? I am new here.
He says, if you're looking for ingredients, you definitely could find them around Oade somewhere. I'd imagine probably is best in the Weavers district. They always have everything there.
Alchemist?
He says, absolutely.
All right. Well, what you got?
You go on up. I'll say it's only a short trip for you. And as you head up, you kind of walk through these shelves. He doesn't climb any shelves for this. He kind of thumbs through some books and pulls one out.
As he's going through, I'm
Yeah,
just
you
like, do you know what everything is?
And he says, "Yep." And he kind of taps his head. All up here?
How?
He says, "Oh, I took a long time of training and studying and what's the word? Shadowing. My formal my former workers here."
Top one like a grape.
He says, "My former workers, and we're very good at it. I'll just say that. Very good at memorizing. We may not know everything, but we do know the location of things."
I not interesting. That is it just you? Or are there multiple?
He says, "Oh no, there's like 100 of us that work within the archives. Not all of us are front facing. Most of them go and update records as necessary, things that need to be kept up to date."
I nod. Cool.
He says, "Fact,
Man, the hiring practices here are fucked up. They only hire Jofies.
We don't know that. I didn't want to ask. I thought about asking, but that felt insensitive.
we don't.
So far, we've only seen Jofies here.
Like, hey, are you all big blue fucks or what? Like, it's just you or?
He will ask you. He'll say, "Do you know Iquan?"
Unless you tell me otherwise.
Sounds like a
no.
fucking D's nuts joke.
Literally.
You know Iquan?
on these?
One moment. What is the list that you know? Oops, sorry. That you know.
You know Iquan?
You know Iquan? Oh, whoops. Boop, boop, boop.
No, but I know
Perlon,
Iquan.
I can't take it anymore.
You do not know about Iquan. You do not know about Iquan.
No, but with a stronger intonation.
He'll say, "Oh well, Iquan is the god of knowledge, and we all here at the archives are followers of Iquan, as we all love the pursuit of knowledge and documentation. And he says, "So if you're ever interested in working at the archives, there's a long process to get to work here, but if you follow Iquan and follow his ideals, then you may get here." And he kind of just like nods, and he kind of just walks ahead of you.
Am I supposed to follow? Or?
Says, yes, please keep following.
Oh, well, sorry. I catch up.
And he gets to a book.
Joffrey Ethno State.
He gets to a book, or he goes to a shelf, and there's a thin book that he pulls, and he says, "Here is a small book, or here is a small book of various alchemical a small book of alchemical formulas for restoring memories." And he kind of shows it to you, and I'll say, "Give me a perception check." And this is more for like, unless, I mean, do you have paper and
yes,
pen?
I have my journal that I keep on me.
Yes, yeah, true journal.
And I've written on in other sessions.
I'll say it is either up to you if you want to just kind of look through it and get the vibes of it, or if you just want to copy down. This is like, it's a thin book, but there are a lot of recipes in here.
I'm going to copy it down exactly.
Okay, then I'll say,
is there a specific potion, or is it just like, here, fucking look at the book, loser?
Well, he hands it to you, and I'll say based off your perception check, you're able to find what appears to be two recipes that you think would be best. One of them is for a short-term memory restoration, where it is, either someone's, been recently hit in the head or concussed. It kind of has in its notes that it'll work within the next, or the past, like 10 days or so, and then you find another concoction that's for more larger memories. It's, and it mentions specifically that it's not going to get specific memories back, like if you're trying to look for something, but more memories that if your mind is blocked from them, it specifically says that it kind of clears the blockings from your mind, like your memory, your senses perceived things, but you just can't remember it. Then it'll kind of remove those blockings, so it'll be easier for you to remember.
Okay. All right.
So I would put short-term and long-term memory potions recipes.
Cool. Okay. I will report back and tell you guys that I have 2 potions for I'll do the character. I was able to get 2 potions for and making memories come back. One in the short term, which I think is going to be useful, and one in the long term, which is useful as a backup. He also said that they might be able to give out knowledge about spells to do such a thing, but I wasn't sure if you'd be able to take down a spell that was written for you or not. I was not sure how your magic works.
No, everything. No, I gotta sleep on it. It just comes to me in the morning.
It must be a fascinating experience to just stumble upon magic each morning.
Yeah, well, it comes from Ori. He's the one that does all the hard work.
Surely you do some work.
Can Ori learn the spell?
And I wake up.
Yeah, no. Can Ori learn the spell? Yeah, it's a great question.
I'm just gonna turn to Ori.
One moment. Can Ori learn spells?
Above board, I believe the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think they
based
can.
on my memory, but which is.
Yeah, I vaguely remember reading that they can learn a spell, but I'm gonna triple check that.
I think it's got to be the same.
They're living spell books.
It's gonna be the same tradition though. So like divine, occult, religious. I forget the other nature.
Primal.
Yeah, this guy's a druid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, fat little interjection. I do gotta go after Dylan does his because I gotta wake up early for work.
Fat little interjection.
Yeah.
Oh, I clicked on a wizard. I'm stupid. I was like, this doesn't. I didn't see anything about a familiar.
Dying from cringe.
That's me.
Currently.
Yeah, you can learn new spells. Takes 1 hour. Be a scroll. You and your familiar can use the learn a spell activity to teach your familiar a spell from another witch's familiar. Who knows?
Only from another witch.
Yep. All right. So yes, Ori. So you turn to Ori, and Ori kind of nods its head. It says, "It takes a little bit."
That's such a funny visual. Fucking little origami crayons. Like, all right, read.
Does Ori's mouth like move, or is it just like a voice?
Ori has lips.
Just the pick. Fuck.
It's up to you. It's up to you, Dylan.
I never imagined having a moving mouth or lips.
Yeah, it's just kind of a voice, just little emanates. Little voice, little emanates from him.
That's so much better.
Yeah, it's not like I'm a little muppet. I would kind of hate him.
All right.
Well, so what? Okay, so I'll ask about a spell or something. I feel like we've learned everything. I should just get a freebie. No. Is there something really cool we want to learn about?
The Ultra Priest?
Yeah, what's the Ultra Priest identity?
History, yeah. Anything about the Ultra Priest identity and sighting history?
I can do that.
How do we kill
ask
the Ultra
about
Priest?
yourself on day 2, you piece of shit.
I can do that.
Actually, it's gonna have to be the 3rd day because tomorrow it's closed.
Crying and shitting and pissing.
Yeah, 100th day. Everyone knows that.
It's 100th day. Everybody knows.
Freaking idiot.
Everybody
knows. If you paid attention to the Sumia lore, you'd know that.
Everybody knows that.
Sumia has to go celebrate big tomorrow.
Yeah,
Nice... you seem disgusted.
Can I go in?
Oh yeah, you go in. What do you ask for?
Is Ori allowed to come with me?
Or he's just chilling right next to you. Does it seem like a problem?
Talking to the Jofi?
Yeah.
Do we both get a question, or is it just me?
Kind of looks up and kind of looks over at Ori and says, "It's just you."
Okay.
And he just kind of looks at Ori and he says, "If you want to ask a question," he's kind of just talking right to Ori. "If you want to ask a question, you'll need to get stamped first."
Can you get stamped and then we can both ask one?
Says, "It's only one at a time. I can only bring one person at a time." And he kind of gestures behind him.
Or he might die going in the water.
Ori, can you survive going in this water?
Kind of looks at you and says,
"We've been on the rain."
Yeah, I think I'd be fine.
Okay, go get stamped.
One moment, I need to double check something, make sure that it can be thousands of feet away from you. We can still play it.
Well, I went into the other dimension that one time.
Mm-hmm.
I just couldn't use my spells.
Yeah, but he wasn't there. You don't know what happened to him during that time. I'll say you that.
Oh. Actually, I could. I just couldn't learn new ones if I slept. But no one had any eyelids, so that wasn't a problem.
You're right. That wasn't a problem. Familiar. One moment. Almost there. Okay, it has to be within 1 mile of you. So we're fine.
Okay. Can I swap with my friend here? I'm gonna go back in the line. Can he get stamped and come in?
He says, "Sure, yeah." And you kind of stand back in the room, Ori.
Is there like a chair or something?
You don't see any chairs. It doesn't seem like a big waiting area.
Okay, I'm just gonna sit on the ground.
When you mind meld into Ori, can you communicate with Ori?
No.
You might want to prep Ori with a line of questioning then. So,
well, I'm just gonna cast Share Senses. So I'm gonna take over Ori.
Okay.
And I'm gonna Ori is gonna fly in with the stamp, but it's me.
Yeah, you got stamped. You're flying in.
Hello.
Sense. I need to make sure. Okay. I will say this. You can only do it for up to 1 minute.
Up to 1 minute.
Share senses. And which I think we have broken that rule in the past, but I kind of do want to enforce it.
Yeah, we'll keep it.
So I think you would know that based off of past experiences. I'll say at at one point in the mountain.
Then we'll tell Ori. I'll tell Ori before he goes in. I'll say, okay, we got a little work around here. Go ask what everyone wants to ask, and then I'll get my freebie, and then just don't tell him. So go ask about. Fuck, what do they want? Okay, ask about a spell that you can learn. That can undo memory loss.
I would
or something related.
About the Ultra Priest, personally.
Or if they don't have any, then ask about the Ultra Priest.
I don't think they'll let you do that.
Okay, you decide which one is more important, the Ultra Priest or the spell.
All hands at Nori.
Do that and come back, and then I'll go.
Ori says, "Which one do you want?"
Okay, I want to know about the Ultra Priest more. Just ask about the Ultra
Priest. Okay. He says, "Okay.
I don't care about you learning spells."
Okay. And he says, "So
Dylan heard me say I gotta go to bed early and said I'm gonna ask 2 questions. Legend, goat.
Ori.
You can watch the VOD.
Yeah, you watch the VOD. Ori. So are you taking over Ori?
No, I was letting him go. It's only a minute, so he's going. So I won't know what they talk about. But I tell him to go in and ask about the Ultra Priest identity.
Okay. For me, I need you to roll 3 rolls for me for Ori. I need you to roll a diplomacy check. I need you to roll a athletics check and a perception check. Okay.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. Ori's doing pretty good. Not bad.
Okay.
I will say, yeah, I'll say that you wait about like 5 minutes. And Ori comes back to you.
Okay, who's the Ultra Priest?
He says, the Ultra Priest is a third order deity that is the
What? Come on, I give you one question.
Are you with us when you ask?
No, because I'm still in the waiting room.
He's just sitting in the waiting room.
I don't know if I need to yell you to be mean to your bird or not.
Roll a
Bird's never been very nice to me.
Roll a perception check again.
Well, do I need to yell the bird then, Dylan? That's an option too. I can
Or
yell
remember a full sentence.
Ori, what the fuck's wrong with you?
He remembered like
what is this?
A noun.
Only we get to be mean to Vito.
No, have Ori roll a percent. We'll take the same roll, but it's +1. Ori's got.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Ori's
got
better perception.
Did you coincidentally roll the right thing for the second roll?
I rolled the same number. Yeah, that's weird.
That's crazy.
I'll say that Ori says, the Ultra Priest is a third order deity that presides over Oaid, and based off of all the records that they could show me, it seems like that the Ultra Priest is described as Visir's most devout follower, and apparently was very crucial in a battle during the second era of.
I knew that. I already knew all that.
What else do you want to know? What specifically do you want to know?
It's too late. It's too late. We already asked. Whatever.
Does that mean in our one shot, one of us could play as the Ultra Priest?
Depending on the time period. Yeah, I guess so.
I don't think so.
That'd be at some point. Character now.
I don't know when the time period is.
It depends on what the time period is.
After or before the second era Costa, but okay, well. Okay, it's a third order deity, whatever. I don't think the others will even know what that means or care, but I'll tell them. I'll be quick.
What?
So I run in quick.
You run in quick?
You're still telling us.
Yeah, because now it's my turn, right?
Yeah, what do you ask?
Okay, I want to ask them.
Sorry, do you tell us about?
He's going in
left yet. I can't leave until I do my question.
Yeah. Sure. Both got stamped.
I will, though. Okay. So this is Jofi I talked to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is my first and only question of the day. Does he say anything?
He's waiting for it.
Okay. Can you tell me everything about Zell Gradris? Why they're trying to kill me?
I'll say, do you have any more information about Zell Gradris besides just their name?
No, it said anything and everything, so.
Well, he kind of like closes his eyes for a moment. He says, we have about 50 Zell Gradrises in our records Is it someone who is alive recently? I'd imagine they're alive right now.
I don't know. I guess so. Someone mistook me for him and then tried to kill my friends and throw us off a mountain.
Sorry,
And now I'm not.
Wanted to pause to help in this. Just as a reminder, Steven. Was this at some point there would be mentioned a character who was hunting after someone else in the group, and I recognized that person was 10 Cuts. Was that this person or someone after Alden?
No, someone after Alden.
Okay. You recognize the 10 Cuts hunting us?
I briefly implied to Alden what was going on with that. Anyway, I just wanted to check, see if it was you.
Well, that knowledge is lost with Alden in the grave, I guess.
Yep.
Yes,
Alden had so much shit going on. He had like 5 plot lines active.
We should ask about Alden on a later trip.
This is not gonna show up at all, man. Just like a birth record where he's at the fucking bottom and no one cares. Like,
it's reason for a deity to try and kill me and my friends.
Oh, so someone mistook you. So they're probably an elf. Yes.
I don't know, man. You're the guy with the big head.
Damn.
I've just been thinking about it. You don't get thrown up a mountain every other day.
Peter, you put a bit of a dick today.
He'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to help you. Him being an elf would hit. And is it a he? Are you a he?
Yeah, I'm a he.
Okay, that could narrow it down even further. There is one Zelgradris that could be who you're talking about. They're not exactly alive right now, but we could go see.
Okay, you just
fine?
gotta tell me quick, because my friends don't know that I'm asking 2 questions.
How are you asking 2 questions?
You fucking dumbass.
I'm not. You guys have detectors. Obviously, I'm asking 1 question. That's why I said at the start, this is my first and only question. I just messed up when I said that.
Just roll a quick deception check. I don't think it's gonna fuck anything, but just to see.
Vita gave you activated to be sure.
Just to
please
see.
roll a 1.
I don't think you broke anything.
Please roll a 1.
Almost.
So close.
Even if you rolled poorly, you told someone else, another sentient creature, to do something. It's not like it's a. I don't think Ori technically counts as a minion. Ori could fuck off and leave you. So, like.
I think I'm in the clear.
It's fine. Yes.
You're not talking like you're in the clear, to be fair.
Well, I don't think Vita knows exactly.
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine. He says, okay, well, come follow me. Hold on tight. And I'll say you head on up. And once again, you kind of head up for quite a while. You're probably in the water for like 30, 40 seconds. And it gets a little concerning that you're not going to be leaving the water, but because 30, 40 seconds underwater is quite a distance or quite an amount of time. But you get up and you see the same thing as everyone else, and you start to wander these the various shelves and all these books. Do you say anything to Sophie as you're going, or do you want to just get right there?
No, he's just doing his business.
Then you get, and he kind of climbs on the shelves a little bit, and it kind of looks like he's muttering to himself. He's like, Zell. And he kind of gets out this book, and he flips through it for a little bit, and he says, here's our records of Zelgradris.
Like
maybe who you're speaking about.
I don't know.
And
the guy's gone silent. He's reading it like,
oh
my!
What?
I'm just trying to figure out one of the 5 people that are hunting our group of friends. The robot, the sand lady.
Which does make me wonder why you're being secretive about it.
Well, just because you guys didn't want me to ask about it.
This guy's reading over. He's like reading over.
How fucked are you?
A list of atrocities.
We have like the worst guy who's ever lived coming after us.
Yeah.
Oh god, what if he says it's like a secret second identity and it's like Starbin Hedrick or something, dude?
I need
6 million.
This is how we're gonna handle this situation.
Oh my
I
god.
I need you to.
Oh.
Okay, what we're gonna do is this is what I'm gonna explain it all out. Okay. What I need from you is to roll. Don't do it yet. To roll a perception check, and then a will saving throw. Okay.
Oh my god.
But
Get fucked,
this
Bozo. Get
this is going to be with misfortune on both rolls. So that means
That's
disadvantage,
insane.
basically. Disadvantage, basically.
That's supposed to like never be given out in Pathfinder. That's crazy.
I want you to roll the 2 dice normally now, and how we're going to start the next session is we're going to start the next session with the other half of those rolls to see if you get any lower.
That's crazy.
That's how we're
What a
going to end
cliffhanger.
this session.
You're
So,
fucked. Bro,
roll
you're
a
fucked.
perception
Maybe I
check.
asked about the wrong one. I should ask about the robot.
Roll a perception check. And roll a will save. Okay, dirty 20's pretty good.
That's good.
Jovi just pulls out a gun.
Okay, 7. All right.
Okay.
Well, we are going to.
Well, the DC was 30 on both. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
This guy doesn't want to tell me anything.
We are going to start the next session with whatever happens with Vita asking about Zeldr Gradris and reading about him.
Does one thing we say not to do, dies.
Tower explodes.